So I am expecting a very good series, and I also expect them to go to a third one. The odds have been shown by LootBet, our partner. The odds for FORZE are, well, they definitely favor FORZE, though AVEZ have a way higher win rate on this map. So honestly, I would say with
I assume
AVEZ
that's
starting on
series.
CT side, was that series?
It could be series.
I think that's they always do map though, but if that was for the map, that I would say a value bet for AVEZ does look very solid there on their map choice.
Yeah, Neves, upset potential. We're going to see the smoke side up from Forza, looking for a bit of a B execution. We've got extra C power, just making a bit of noise towards A short, clearing toilets. Preventing any further push from AVEZ is going to prevent any fast rotation towards Connector as well. If he's able to get a pick as well, that could pull a rotation away. He will. Marcos falling instantly. Facecrack, though, going to hold firm outside Monster. No further push to come forward. The rotation does come out from AVEZ, though. They needed that player to stay alive on that A site. He was the Lone Ranger, and him falling, well, leaves their A site completely exposed. But FORZE not shifting at all, and neither really of AVEZ. We've got, I believe that's Narwat pushing up towards Bank, and that's the only real rotation coming through. The execution still comes out. XSC power, well, single-handedly cleared a site, and might be facing the prospect of getting behind as well.
Oh, he does hear the steps coming through from Narot, and the fight coming in. Narot is going to lose that duel from close range with the P250, and the rotations towards A have been cut off. That means, wait, they're going to go back towards the B site here with the flank. No, they only have one checking out connected. Never mind. They're going to go towards that A site. XSC power is getting way too much space, and we have a flanker towards Heaven coming through as well in the B site flank. They're holding it off nicely, and now it's all on Kyler and Kay, but they do have a defuse kit on their back. Almazer, close range fight against Kyler, does fall back, which is gonna mean he has to be careful for the crossfire of Kay. Nice shot from Kyler. And they need to get rid of Flit because the last player is towards CT, but it is going to get shut down. Flit with the double kill, and FORZE securing round number 1.
FORZE got a bit happy there with that round. We saw them pushing a bit closer into Bank, playing positions where they can't really be traded. That round, however, all on XC powers back. You know, that's a great opening. The follow-up push as well, getting that defuse kit dropped, as well as preventing another player on the rotation. It prevents any push to come back down. It allowed his teammates to get into connector, so they could only come up from CT. And AVEZ, pretty much shut down by that push from XSC power there. As we will see them force up with scouts, though. I believe that's scouts and deagles. By that, we see fairly commonly on train, a map that AVEZ love. We'll have to wait and see what they can get done with it. Will be a fast smoke towards toilets coming out from FORZE as well as they take water control. Looking to maybe capitalize off it on this B site.
Yeah, it's triple scout. I think triple scout on this map is not really that warranted. I mean, it's, as you said, on train, it does make a lot of sense. Very long angles, but for instance, on the B side, these angles are pretty close. You have one player Heaven, you most of the time. Nice flash coming over. Facecrack gets pushed back. Bialy gets a kill onto Flit, and they shut down Facecrack. So that's a man advantage in for AVEZ right now, with FORZE pretty much set on that B bomb site, but Bialy falling all the way back. This could be pretty dangerous for them. Luckily enough, they were not able to recover any rifle from the FORZE lineup, but it is going to be a slow push coming in. Nice smoke placement, but Naurot just peeks wide, and Jerry takes him down. Rotations should be coming in from that A site of AVEZ. It's all on Bialy right now. Can he get a good headshot with the scout, or at least tag him low?
You need to remember, these scouts, they need to be given some respect. It's actually a fast push coming wide. Kyler no scoping onto Jerry's head there. A great opening for AVEZ. And again, these scouts, they need to be shown respect, you know? It is a two-shot kill body. Something similar to what these AKs can do, actually, against no armor. So they really, really have to be careful as these scouts start to ring out. So spam coming through from XSC, or from XSC Power's teammates. Alamazer tries to pull any attention away from him. Bialy, though, shifting forward. Contact is made. XSC Power finds the first. Slimer finds the second. XSC Power finds the third. And the retake completely shut down by FORZE there. Fairly clean rounds after, well, bar the two players they lost at the start. They're able to hold on to the AKs. It will be Mac 10s again from Jerry and Facecrack, as FORZE make it 2.
This should be a pretty straightforward round. Maybe a couple of P250s, unless FORZE make a really bad play. They should be able to rake in a lot of cash with the triple Mac 10s. That means most likely they'll be taking those Mac 10s into the next round, because you don't want to upgrade to 3 AKs after you've just bought a bunch of Mac 10s, and they'll just mainly use it as a buffer round. However, that is if they don't lose too many plays. Kyler gets 2 in the short position, and that is, well, luck. Unfortunately for them, only the 2 Mac 10s, but Kyler just peeks in wide, drops the bomb on the site, and that is an 8K down. Jerry is close. There's one in towards connector. Kyler, he needs to ace clutch this to win the round, but with the limited weaponry on the side of AVEZ, 7-3 for Kyler so far, and a very nice round. Unfortunately, we're not able to turn this one around, but a lot of economic damage dealt to the FORZE squad.
Absolutely, and honestly, that was really clean from AVEZ to get 3 kills there, even though they had just pistols. Well, for Kyler to get 3 kills there, it prevented FORZE from really playing the economic game. We do see they do have a lot of money. It's 5.8 on XSE power, but there are many players, you know, Flit only has 300, so this sort of aggressive buy that allowed them to get these kills worked out perfectly for them. Marcos as well, aggressing with that orb. You know, you see that AVEZ, even though they've got the round disadvantage, they're hungry for it. Marcos going to find XSE power. Flit looking to aggress on short. He's ate a nade for his trouble already. And AVEZ on this buy round really kickstarting themselves into a great position.
Yeah, especially Marcos going for the repeat towards a ramp, and actually winning that duel against XSE power. So the first op duel has been won by AVEZ, but they still have to hold on against this B push. They do prefer so far the B site on FORZE, but they're now spreading out. They need to clear out all these angles though, because they have no idea how far AVEZ pushed. Luckily for them, AVEZ are playing very defensive on towards their sites, with Kyler peeking out long, it seems, behind the truck, and it's going to take a while before FORZE have actually cleaned out everything so they can get close enough towards the site. I assume they are going to go for a boost, though, to scout out what's going on.
Quite an aggressive position from Marcos as well. He needs to be careful. If he gets overwhelmed, he's just going to be forced back into the corner, and Kyler, he's going to have to turn his attention away from long to support him. Actually, he's going to aggress further into toilets, as Flitz will take him down, having picked up his fallen teammates. Or the execution about to be kickstarted now. Smokes go down. 25 seconds left now. And Kyler just sitting in the smoke, actually. He's going to lead the charge. He'll spam into that smoke, hoping to find something, but a laser through the smoke will find the head of Kyler. That's a great opening, as Jerry will find Bialy as well. That nade's going to do a bit of damage as well. Now we're able to trade onto face crack, but it goes into a 2 versus 3. AVEZ going to have to retake against this fairly well dug in position from FORZE, as Flit now going to spot that player jump spotting as well. Get that first player. Okay, he's going to fall. It's all on Narwhal. He's playing amazingly on train. Can he transfer it onto overpass? He chooses not. He picks up that AK and he looks to go and save. Beautiful execution from FORZE. They're able to get that opening pick onto the site despite having a man disadvantage.
Yeah, that was unfortunate, especially Kyler getting shot through the smoke. I mean, by the way, just out of curiosity, have you seen, not that it has anything to do with this round, of course, but have you seen that video floating around on YouTube about the bugs, the smoke bugs, where they change a file in the folder and you literally don't see a smoke pop up anymore?
Wow. No, I haven't. That's actually game breaking.
Yeah, there are actually wall hacks possible if you edit one of the game files and it doesn't get picked up by the anti-cheat.
Wow. Okay. Well, any team using that definitely going to have an advantage. We're going to see a boost come forward from AVEZ, actually, with this AK in the hands of Narwhal. Flash going to go off, push him out of position, as he'll be able to find Flip. That's a nice opening, using that AK that's been saved to its full potential.
That was a very quick and nice peek from Narwhal. And again, they get the man advantage. However, they had one last round. Who did not get the tag onto the Opera. That was scary, of course. The moment that you see that big green gun peek around the corner, you're terrified because you need to fall back ASAP.
Absolutely, and I think that Kyler is, well, knowledgeable of the fact that he's lucky to get away with his life. That Deagle and Scout going to swing wide to steam power. Going to spot the player jumping across. He will be legged down by that Scout. We're going to see Marcos there in the base setup, hiding in toilets, waiting for the push to come into his awaiting arms. That smoke from his teammate as well, trying to sell the fake, making them think that toilets is clear. As the execution onto safe site comes out from FORZE. However, this time AVEZ are ready. The stack is in position. Alameza finds Marcos to open it up. Follow-up push from FaceCrack, though, as he pushes up to that site. He'll be that point of contact. As looks like he'll just chuck that molly down straight away. Kyler going to find Jerry as well. However, FaceCrack finds one. K finds one. Kyler trades as well. Kyler, USP finds ecstasy power, and AVEZ get their first round. 4-1, FORZE lead off the back of a great 3K from Kyler there.
And again, Kyler has to go big. I mean, he's been going big so far this entire game. What is his scoreline? 10-1-4. Yeah, they've 5 rounds in. Not too bad for the CT side defense, but it is going to be a couple more of those hero plays needed to win it, because they need to win this round. Otherwise, you're going to be pushed. Well, they will have a nice solid bye next round. FORZE, however, do need to be very careful. They only have a little bit of extra cash on XSE power. And if they win this, they need to make it a reasonably clean one. Otherwise, you're looking at a pretty dangerous run of events for FORZE. Can AVEZ get that man advantage again? Marcos gets stacked pretty low, though, with the op. Tried to go for the monster peak, and it did not pan out as well as he liked. He did get the damage in onto Flit, but... Oh, FaceCrack just spots out Kyler, who immediately throws a nade and falls back.
Yeah, I like what AVEZ are doing right now. They're playing for information, and once they have it, rather than fight for it, they just fall on back. You know, Marcos, he did lose a bit of HP aggressing in Monster, but the follow-up as well from Kyler. Like, he made contact, he fell back, he made it known that he fell back, and now we see him regressing in towards, I believe that's called Get Right. As he pokes the outside Guardian, he'll swing wide off his teammate's flash. We'll find FaceCrack dropping that smoke, and that'll allow him to get away. And there you go, that's what AVEZ need if they want to keep getting this man advantage. The trade isn't quite there. Bearing in mind, Marcos being very, very low, it means that he doesn't really count as a player, but that AWP is what is scary in his hands, not his HP. That one kill potential, or that one hit kill potential, it proves to be prevalent now.
On an opera, it doesn't matter too much. If you miss your shot, you're dead anyway. However, a random nade on towards your angle could be detrimental to Marcos, especially with the position he's holding. Oh, that op shot got close. Kyler does fall back, and it does seem to be an A execute with the amount of info that they have. Or are they going to rotate towards B? They have very little time, 17 seconds. They're running the clock a little bit too low. Finally, they're heading towards the side. Leg coming through onto XSE power. A lot of damage being dealt. There's going to be the spray down, and that is the round secured in favor of AVEZ. They will keep 2 players alive on their side. FORZE will at least carry a couple of guns into the next round, so they'll go for another buy round. But that was that's just playing too long with the time.
Yeah, scary to say the least for AVEZ there. FORZE, those 3 kills they got, that site just melted towards the final closing seconds. If Kyler hadn't got that single kill, the only kill of that defense, by the way, was on the planter. FORZE responded with 3 in kind for what Kyler was able to dish out. So I think AVEZ, even though they won the round, that must be a harsh reality check to both their economy and their confidence, as we'll see them able to buy up. But, you know, if they lose this, they're really going to be in a tough position. K, the only player with enough economy to support them, and XSE power finding Marcos instantly isn't what you want to see.
That's a big gun just dropped right there, and FORZE starting off with the man advantage. Kyler, they're trying to get a little bit of map presence, but look at their positioning. They have absolutely no one on A after Marcos got shut down, and FORZE are pushing towards that A long area with Jerry pushing forward, peeking up above the flower bed to see if he can spot anyone out. It's a pretty clean sight for now, but how long is it going to last? Because they are rotating towards that A defense on the side of AVEZ, sacrificing the B.
Absolutely, and FORZE going back around now. They've really changed up the tempo. They got that initial kill, and now they've just stopped. You see them rotating back down towards B. They cleared for any re-aggression towards A. AVEZ disciplined not to show it as they retake A site control. But FORZE now, so 30 seconds left. They do prefer these late round executes. Narwhal has got his work cut out for him right now, as he does have to look to try and, well, secure this entire site against the incoming execution with 25 seconds left.
Yeah, they're running the clock down too short as well. They have to hurry up. If the bomb planter dies, it's probably going to be round over again, and that's exactly what they're waiting for. Now on site, waiting for that bomb plant to come in so he can peek in wide and shut him down. Spray comes through. He's going to whiff it so close, but he doesn't get rid of Jerry. The bomb plant has been secured. It is going to be a retake, and AVEZ all of a sudden, they're crumbling all over the place. They need to take this site, but they have very excellent post plant on the side of FORZE. Last man standing, gonna get flicked down by XSC's power, and that is 5 rounds for FORZE. The economy of AVEZ, they could go for a small buy, but that is about it.
We'll take a look from our partners over at Hellcase. Hellcase is one of the biggest and most known case opening websites with almost 100 cases, updated case battle upgrader, dozens of giveaways, and absolutely more unique features. You won't get bored with Hellcase. Use promo code Malta5 and use that to save more and grab what you deserve.
I always like opening cases. Unfortunately, the Netherlands is not allowed.
That's actually heartbreaking. And more importantly, AVEZ now pushing down into connects. Almeza gonna find Carlos open up. Yali, a nice little trade as well onto that with that Deagle to be able to pick up that AK and hopefully get back to save it. Face crack with party control might prevent him from falling out. However, now as he finds Flitz as well in connector, that does really open up everything for AVEZ. Bialy able to get out of connector as well. Will allow him to get into toilets, and he might just spot this long push as it comes through as well. As the author will spawn. He didn't react though. XSC power turning back around, finding Bialy. The push is known, okay? With this AWP, it's going to be that lone protector of the safe site. The smokes goes down, and scoping at the right time is all he needs. He'll find XSC power. Swing comes forward. Face crack trading. 1 versus 2 now for Narwhal. He'll be able to pick up that AK, or actually that Deagle, as AK not quite found. There he does. There he goes. He finds that AK. 1 versus 2. He'll come up out of connector. As FORZE, the only advantage playing into Narwhal's power right now is FORZE don't know where he is. As he shifts forward from toilets, he does have to clear so many angles before he can even consider getting onto the site. And this is a bit of a crossfire as well between Jerry and Face Crack.
Yeah, especially with no kit on his back, it's going to be really tough. He could flush out Face Crack. Nice shutdown. But with the bomb plant position, is he going to guess long? He is actually going to peek out long. But no kit, no defuse time, a round victory for FORZE. It is looking pretty problematic for AVEZ, even though they did get the entire team wiped pretty much. But the fact that they are on the CT side, and it's not looking too great for them. Luckily, they will have a full buy this round and hopefully shut down FORZE, who are otherwise getting a way too big of an economy to beat if they do not get shut down very soon.
Absolutely, and I think more importantly, AVEZ, they only had Deagles there. So the fact they're still able to do a number on FORZE with Deagles kind of shows, even though the scoreline doesn't show it, this game's pretty close. You know, FORZE have been winning rounds with 2 or 3 people remaining more times than not. Granted, they have had a few whitewash rounds, which has allowed them to build the economy, which has supported these takes. We can see a 4-man boost as well coming out from FORZE. Unfortunately, they won't find anyone, and it's just heartbreaking when you see this boost and they don't find anyone, because, you know, it takes a lot of effort to set up, and I'm really happy to see teams kind of normalize it.
Oh, but heaven, there is one close to peaking. He does spot out the 4-man boost, but it is too late. Flit also gets another kill in connector, and that is a 2-man advantage for FORZE, all of a sudden opening the advantage in their round. Yeah, this is problematic. Marcos is the only A defender so far. It does seem that they want to clear out connector, which is dangerous. Nice peek out wide from Marcus. Gets a kill. Falls back. Didn't lose too much HP. And Almeza accidentally almost nades himself. Peek out wide. K and Naura both chime in for a kill. So 2-on-2 situation. 1 on the A side, 1 on the B side for the defense of AVEZ. But it is Marcos on that op. And he has been, well, pretty weak so far. He's only on 2 kills right now. He needs to step up on this defense, otherwise they are in a world of hurt. They do have 2 flashes of Molly in the smoke, so they can at least clear out 1 angle, which is probably normally going to be bank. Molly the jump up, and it's going to be a 1 versus 2 peak.
Sure.
K is nowhere to be seen, so the rotation will never be on time.
Absolutely, Michaels. 10 seconds left. He has to realize longest possibility that Molly's been given away. He'll find the first player. The plant comes down. It's a fake. A swing at the right time. However, Almei's able to take him down. He might just have a fraction of a second left, allowing him to get that plant. It'll go down. Almei's at 9 HP against K on 100. Either a well-placed nade or a good push is all K needs. Almei's really needs to catch him off guard right now. Fortunately, he won't. K will take him down. He'll secure AVEZ, their third round. And I'd really like to highlight that push AVEZ had in Connector. Now, what he pushed upwards, allowing him to try and fight players on the top of Connector as the push came through towards A. What that allowed was Marcos to go in from the bottom of Connector to fight the flank that he knew was coming, but didn't have time to deal with it because of those players towards toilets. And that teamwork allowed them to go from a two-man disadvantage to making it even.
Yeah, it was a very quick round of multiple peaks in multiple areas, and they just shut down that FORZE push. And FORZE are going to go for the semi-buy, mainly building around utility. They will go for a full buy next, but they bought a lot of utility, actually. And they're going to go quick. At least one of them is going quick. There's going to be the very fast defense towards B short, but no one anywhere close to start this fight off. And it's just pretty much the information game for both teams. Rushing down Connector. K does need to be careful when that door opens. Throws out a little spray, does not connect, and will fall back.
Strike as well, landing all around. Pillar gonna do a lot of damage onto Nala. I really like how these teams have, once contact was made by Kyler, that he didn't try and go for this hero spray down. He just fired one bullet while he was running away, and that was all he considered doing. The nade was what did the damage there, and we see Face Crack dropping because of it. Well, dropping down to 40 HP because of it. And AVEZ reading this really well. They suspected the likelihood is they'll turn around and head back towards A. See him dropping a bit of utility, and all FORZE have for this execution is 2 flashbangs. So they're going to get up close. Contact is made with Face Crack. And again, Kyler just falling on back to sight. Marcos finds Almeiza to open it up. However, Kyler is there because he was able to fall back. He can play from that side position. Still continue tapping on down players. Gali there to support 1. He'll find 2 as well. And with that, AVEZ make it 4, showing a lot more life in the closing few rounds of this first half.
Yeah, it was they had superior weaponry on AVEZ. Their utility on FORZE was pretty much completely depleted, trying to get towards the A site, and eventually it was just walking right into the bullets. Unfortunately for FORZE, but they will have a little bit weaker buy than I would have initially expected with the amount of utility they bought last round. They've got a Galil, an AK, an AWP, and 2 MAC-10s. So they definitely did not manage the economy perfectly. Nice nade damage coming through on short. Big flashes coming in, but now Rod's going to get the kill on Face Crack with the molly damage. And utility reigning supreme here for AVEZ so far. Holding that B defense. They did expend pretty much everything they had, but they at least got a kill and a half out of all their utility so far.
And on that note, it doesn't really matter. There's only 1 smoke left for FORZE. Flash into a short as well. We'll have the eyes get 1. He's going to continue pushing as well. They're able to trade though, but now what? Pushing wide, he'll find 2 more of his own. Showing out that lone player. He'll take down K, but with 30 HP left, what more can he hope to find? Kyler will find him, and AVEZ make it 5. And something I think quite interesting as well about these fast plays is that when you see a fast play after a losing round spree, usually it's a sign of desperation. And FORZE, I'm kind of disappointed to see that, considering they are still in the lead, they still had the economy, and that round would have worked perfectly for them if they just split out and went for picks, aggressing off them, which is what they've been doing for the start of this game.
Yeah, they might be a little bit worried with multiple rounds in a loss, in a row loss. However, they do still have 6 rounds on the T side, so all in all, it is not too bad for them if they manage to get at least 1 more. They are in a very comfortable position for their CT defense. Bartos, they have barely any weapons on the side of FORZE, so unless you make a drastic mistake without any flashes or whatsoever, they should be able to clean up this FORZE lineup pretty quickly.
Absolutely, and Face Crack, contact made on long as well. He's just going to look to try and run away while he can. A few shots will ring out, but he will be able to escape. FORZE, again, with all these players stacked up in toilets with no utility. Pushing anywhere is just going to be difficult. I think they hope to catch maybe 1 player off guard for the aggressors. Kyler will be spotted. He'll take down Face Crack.
Yeah, it is kind of to be expected that they just, lambs to the slaughter. It's easy money farming. Maybe a deagle kill coming in, but Jerry, he's got to at least get 1 for his troubles. And unfortunately, they just get shut down. And the money in on AVEZ side will pretty much secure their buys for the rest of the half. 3 more rounds left. I would say 2 more buys definitely, even with an op purchase on top of it. So they should be pretty much fine. FORZE need to take 1 more, and then they'll be comfortable in their CT defense, especially if they manage to win the pistol. And AVEZ, they really need to win these next 3 rounds, because the T side is, of course, a lot tougher. Not as tough, because you can overwhelm your opponents pretty quickly if you just get a quick execute towards B, or even rush down towards mid. But connector does seem to be a little bit of a slow area for both teams. The T's do not like to aggress in it, and the CTs have not held it too much this game so far. They prefer on AVEZ's side to just stick to their sites most of the time and hold the push there.
Absolutely. And again, FORZE, it's quite interesting to see with very little economy. Now they're playing back, now they're playing safe. I think both teams currently looking for a 9-6 half. If FORZE get it, then they're going to have an easy CT side. If AVEZ get it, they're going to have a bit of an easier T side. Now, one can be flashed out of position, he'll turn wide. Racetrack not able to find that opening as the trades go left and right. It will lead FORZE with a 1-man advantage. Bialy hoping that nade will do a bit of damage. It will. Dre falling to 22 HP, 21 if you include that molly. He'll fall to 2 HP now as he has to watch out. Now that a plant will come through, and Marcos now the only player with utility. Deep out, spotting that player in heaven. Won't find him though, Marcos. The nade finally finding Jerry. But Bialy has been able to drop, and with only a flash to his name, gonna have to hope to do something magical. Luckily though, the plant isn't quite for these monster players, so...
But yeah, does he go for the pros don't fake move? He doesn't know that they're not towards short. He's gonna peek in on ecstasy power. The time is ticking down at this point. You should just go for the full stick, and they're gonna peek in wide to try and stop it. And they will stop the defuse, and with that, FORZE get themselves their 7th round, and that means that the half has already been pretty much too good for them. By coming out from AVEZ, and a pause for FORZE, actually.
I think in my eyes, FORZE with 7, they've done all they needed to do on this half. Going on to CT side, get that pistol round, make it 8-8, assuming they end up losing the remaining few rounds. Either way, they've done enough on T side of Obus to make space for them on CT side. I think this pause is going to prevent AVEZ from trying to find any conversion, maybe allowing FORZE to just come up with a strat to maybe try and shatter AVEZ's economy for this last round. I think they might just be able to buy, but they'll be scraping the bottom of the barrel, surely. Everything, including the kitchen sink, will have to be brought for this final round if AVEZ lose this.
Yeah, and it is going to be tough, of course, because AVEZ really need this map. Because the next one was Inferno, if I'm not mistaken, and that was a pretty dominating map for FORZE, so they really need this one in the bag. Otherwise, it's going to be very tough, because even if they manage to magically win Inferno, they still have to deal with them on Nuke, and it is a tough series for them in general, because FORZE is one of the better teams in this tournament altogether.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And you don't usually see, well, Malta Vibes especially, they've had a history of having some great games where it's always going to map 3. I think AVEZ, if they want to keep that trend, they are going to have to take this map, because Inferno is so strong for FORZE. It's one of their best maps, and I think AVEZ went into this veto banning what they don't want to play rather than what FORZE want to play, which meant that FORZE kind of have a veto advantage going into this.
Yeah, that's the advantage of just pretty much being good on almost everything. Kai does get a double spray down, though. Ecstasy Power turns it around. Nice flash coming through from the CTs. Bialy holding the side, falling back towards water, and that's going to be making it a 2-on-3 situation. Bomb is not down. Bomb is under control for FORZE, and they're going to fall back. They still have 45 seconds. See if they can make a play happen towards B short. It does seem Bialy is going to try and peek into Flit. Wins that duel as well. Now it's all on to Ecstasy Power. Has an op in his hand. Honestly, with the... Yeah, you just save this, right? You don't have any money left. It's the last round coming up. You've got armor and a molly and an op.
Absolutely. Yeah, he has everything he needs to go into the next round, and with the loss bonus, with the loss of money, he will be able to get a bit more utility as well. So I absolutely expect him to save. It's kind of weird to see him aggress so far. I think he suspects he might be able to catch one player off guard. He did spot that player towards heaven. Which you didn't quite see him. Bialy now covering the distance, actually trying to chase him down. XC Power will prevent him, though, as he'll be able to hold on to this AWP, clinging to it like a newborn child as they go into round 15.
Weird that Bialy did not. He probably had his knife out there, but weird that we didn't hear a single gunshot coming through, especially with him pushing towards Monster. But yeah, this is the last round of the half. Everyone's gonna go for the full buy. Utility wise, actually, utility for FORZE is not that bad. Of course, they don't have the best weaponry in the world with 3 pistols, an AK, and an AWP. But if XC Power can just open up with a nice AWP kill, that could be massive for them. Now Rod actually takes a pretty decent amount of damage already, down to 60 HP. So that gives a good advantage here for FORZE, especially with those close range Tech 9s. Coming in, Marcos holding the AWP angle. However, he has been taken down on that exact same angle multiple times. Boost towards B short, shut down. And Jerry gets taken out as a second. This is looking problematic for FORZE. Peek and wide. That one he's going to connect, and the last man standing is going to be AVEZ. A very good round from AVEZ. And finally, we saw some good aggression coming out on their end, which we've been lacking a little bit in this CT side.
And looks like a very large spark of life there from FORZE. Oh, sorry, from AVEZ there to shut down FORZE categorically. It will just be full on. AVEZ, he'll find one, but with Marcos covering the distance, it's going to look really difficult for him as he'll swing further. AWP in hand, shotgun AWP, he'll take him down. And AVEZ now going to actually find the lead. You know, they've really got a second wins in these closing few rounds, getting themselves a victory in the half. But again, FORZE, 7 rounds, 2 side of overpass, absolutely not bad at all. I think they still are in the runnings for this. Both teams going to be hungry for this pistol round.
Yeah, pistol usually means 3 rounds. Well, actually, I'm saying usually. Sometimes, once in 3 times means 3 rounds. And the odds are pretty much the same as when the game started. It's still about 1.5 for FORZE and 2.5 for AVEZ, I would say. But does it seem... I mean, in the beginning of the map, I would say that I would rate AVEZ a little bit higher, but it does seem pretty much what I expect it to be.
Yeah, for sure. FORZE, a formidable team. I understand why AVEZ instantly opening up, finding 2. And, that shows why the odds are so heavily in their favor. 2 very quick kills, a 3rd as well. AVEZ swinging wide, hoping to maybe get a 4th as Facecrack finds one. AVEZ makes it 4 as he takes down Nawat. And with that, FORZE tie up 8-8. Complete decimation on that pistol round from FORZE. And, well, the odds start making sense.
Yeah, that was a way too quick of a round, to be fair. They just straight up ran Monster against USPs. If you get the lucky Gush, of course, you can overwhelm them easily on the B side, but long-range tap fights against USPs are never fun, especially with a lack of utility to try and get them off the angle. And a great defense from AVEZ. There's going to be this actually a save coming out from AVEZ. They want to take this one for sure. They want to make sure that they have the superior weaponry next round. If they get at least a gun drop here, that would be pretty nice for their team. Flit is pretty low, does need to be careful. Luckily, there is Jerry also holding the flank inside connector. But on the A site, in the meantime, all the way over there, we have Marcos, who is right behind his opponents. Does unfortunately not have the bomb with him. And XC Power is going to be the first one to drop a weapon. Close range. Could take down Flit pretty easily with 22 HP. Spray comes in. What's happening? He does manage to get a double with that Glock and did do a decent amount of damage to the FORZE economy.
Yeah, for sure. That is, I'm surprised he was able to get 2 there. One, I can understand he did have the flank, but a second, a bit sloppy from FORZE. But, they're able to hold on to the valuable guns. We got XC Power going straight to an AWP. The FAMAS is still on Flits. Got an M4 on Jerry, and these UMB's able to play bonus. I think the reason AVEZ didn't force as well last round because they didn't have the bomb plant. They couldn't really justify it. So that's why we're going to see full AKs coming out. They're going to be a glass cannon on Marcos. He's going to be going for this initial pick. Duel against XC Power, but he is quick. My god, he's quick, as Bialy will fall instantly on the side of AVEZ.
Yeah, nice opening pick for FORZE. They will trade it out though with K getting Jerry towards the B short, who tried to play. Wait, actually no, that wasn't connected even. I think he was just about to peek and connected, but still got shut down. K is down to 9 HP though, so a decent advantage there. Close range smoke that gives away intel that Flit is at least in the very near vicinity, and Flit needs a guard on his back. Honestly, if randomly Naura would walk through the smoke. Luckily, there is also XSC power with that op who is trying to peek out all these angles, steps towards long. Might get clustered in if he's not careful, especially with the rotation. Flit is going to get caught off guard. XSC power gets one shot, but Marcos returns the frag, and now it's going to be a 2-on-3 retake of the A site for FORZE. Can he get there on time? Yes, he shuts down Naurot, and now tries to go and win the duel against Kyla, but will lose it in the end. Face crack. He's in a 1 versus 2 situation. Has the FAMAS behind them. Will they even turn around? Oh, this is just dangerous. Why is no one checking their flank?
Oh, the knife kill as well.
Okay, Face crack playing a dangerous game, but still wins out the duel, gets the defuse in. Very weird 1 versus 2 clutch. I mean, normally you kind of do expect players to come from the flank, right? You do expect them to come up connector.
I think that push that came through out from garbage from, I believe it was Jerry there, it was so quick that they assumed his teammate would be there, which would explain why he was pushing quickly. Well, that's the only explanation I can think of, because Face crack, beautiful clutch, knife kill as well, going to bolster that economy. And I think for FORZE, that not only is that knife kill and clutch good for their economy, it's good for their confidence, you know? I can imagine seeing some pushes coming forward now. They're starting to really feel it. They know that they've got AVEZ showing a bit more respect, as well as you see full rifles coming out from them. No AWP in sight, and it's allowed Flit to push forward in towards party without much contention from AVEZ.
Yeah, they have a pretty decent buy round on AVEZ. And there was a gap in the smoke, nicely done. I don't know if I assume it was a CT on purpose gap. And Jerry gets cleaned up by Bialy. They're really good at evening out the score in this series, because every single time one team gets the opening kill, the other one chimes in to return the favor. In the meantime, we do have Flit pushing forward towards Fountain. Actually, he's going to fall back. Trying to go for the spray down, wins it against Marcos, and now it's a 3-on-3 face crack again. Why is everyone holding their knives in their hands? They will get the kill onto face crack with XC power. He knows that they're coming into his direction, has the op in hand, and will shut down that push. Flit is on the flank. So many flanks coming in this round. It is absolutely insane.
I love how aggressive these teams are being. Absolutely love it. He's got flank on flank on flank, and now XC power. He knows that he's in a 1 versus 2 for the site. He'll find Kyla, but the flank from Flit, it's so quick. I'm not sure if it's expected, because the flank on the flanker who picked off the flank. So it's almost like a riddle right now, as Flit going to be coming forward from Monster. Now what is sort of queued to his position. We're going to see him pushing down towards CT. As FORZE, they're able to win a 1 versus 2. Can they win a 1 versus 1? We'll have to see.
The bomb is planted for multiple angles, but mainly not for short, so he should know that there's no player on short. At least it would be very unlikely, and Naurot is going to win that straight-up duel to clutch it out for his team, and a very much needed round for AVEZ, because the economy of FORZE is in tatters. They only have a couple. Actually, Face Crack's going to drop the full-on op, and they're going to go for the full buy defense with a timeout coming out for AVEZ to try and figure out a plan of attack. They don't have a lot of money on the tees either.
Absolutely, both teams playing to reset each other right now, and AVEZ, they're facing prospect of really misjudging the economy right now. If they buy up Mac 10s, that's going to have to be a fast play, and running into CZs, that ends up going from an easy fight against maybe them or pistols to being a 50-50 fight. Same for AWPs at range. FAMASs as well can do a lot of damage, and they have misread it. It'll be Mac 10s coming out with utility, so AVEZ, what's slightly stacked against them right now, as FORZE are able to capitalize off this misread if they're lucky.
Yeah, that op of he needs to get the opening bit quickly on XSE power before those Mac 10s get too close to his site. the rifles, they have one FAMAS and a couple of pistols on the side of FORZE. Can take close range engagements, but MAC-10s are terrifyingly fast, and they're going to use it exactly for that reason. Spray comes out. FaceCrack does get one kill, falls back towards water. One and done so far. And Jerry is also hiding inside water. The spray down comes in. Peek out wide from Flit. Tries to get the kill in, but there's such a big B defense. Last man standing is K. Right on site. He's going to jump up. Whittle in the duel, but is down to 21 HP. XCC Power has the op in hand. Should swap towards his pistol, though. But is going to go for the straight op peek. It seems, does K expect him from that angle? It does seem very likely. Is going to peek into him. It does get a tag onto XSC Power, but FORZE shut down that push very quickly. They had a pretty decent stack towards that B site on FORZE, and they were ready. They were definitely ready.
For sure. And that was the issue with AVEZ, misreading that. Those MAC-10s, they expected it to be pistols, they expected it to be a close engagement. And FORZE with that FAMAS, we saw that initial pick going down. The utility allowed AVEZ to get that first pick and just fall back with a man advantage. That allowed him to bait into the actual pistols who were already waiting and laying in wait like vipers in that water area, allowing them to just get players as they jump up like whack-a-moles. It went down to the 1v1, of course, XC Power taking it against, I believe it was Narwat. A fair 1v1, of course, nice shot from him, securing that round, and, AVEZ must be kicking themselves. They should have had AKs there, and that round would have been a lot more different.
And now it's going to be a semi-buy, a decent amount of utility on their side, though, so it might be going for a quick execute run. But the weaponry on FORZE is not that strong either. They've got 2 SMGs, a FAMAS, an M4, and an op on XSC Power, who does actually not have head armor, so that is pretty dangerous against these Tech 9s, P250s. One tap to the head, and you are out of there.
And we see this MAC-10 now at close range, ready for these actual pistols to come forward from AVEZ. And I think I need to reiterate what we said before. AVEZ need this map. Inferno is not a map AVEZ are confident on, and FORZE, they're hungry. They've got a chance to close it out on. If they win this, they're either going to close it out on Inferno, or we go to Nuke, where they still have a massively high win percentage. AVEZ need to be really careful in this. Right, Kyla, going to spam down Jerry. It's not pretty, but it works. As XC Power going to be ready on the trade as well. Fortunately, he'll unscope just as he pushes on away.
And it does pull Flit towards A long, so that means the rotations are not going to be as swift on the side of FORZE if it's going to be a B push. We do luckily enough have FaceCrack close range with that SMG, so if they actually push through Monster, he could get a couple of kills quickly, because there is only K with the head armor on the side of AVEZ. And they're trying to keep this push away. AVEZ is going to go for the full execute. XC Power peeks in with that op. FaceCrack is still behind. He was completely flashed. Jumps down. Gets behind them. In between them, actually, even. And the last man standing, Bialy, will not get a single frag either. So that is going to be a nice shutdown for FORZE. Luckily, that was not the full buy for AVEZ. They will get themselves the AKs and whatever they need right now so that they can get the push going, because they really, really need to start turning up.
Absolutely, and that's a beautiful push from beautiful discipline from the FaceCrack there to allow the players past him. That was an amazing bait setup as well from AVEZ. The teamwork there absolutely phenomenal, as it did bait the AVEZ players into the awaiting arms of that MP9. He struck at just the perfect moment, and there you have it. Round going for FORZE with relative comfort. Okay, fighting for short, he'll be able to take down Jerry. However, he'll fall down to 26 HP. These SMGs still playing a bit of a bonus on the side of FORZE. A questionable decision, considering they do only have a 3-round lead, but I don't disagree with it. I think I can understand why. Their economy is good, but it's not the best, and any kill they get on AVEZ right now is going to be difficult for them. They've brought down to 500, 550 being the most on Kyla, as they continue a very slow, methodic clear of Connector and A.
Yeah, you have a man advantage, but you do not want to throw this one away by accident, so they're just using their little utility they have left. They only have 2 smokes, 2 flashes, and a molly. So they do have to be a little bit careful. 1 flash for long, most likely, otherwise you're going to peek right in dry against a possible op, which would be a little bit too scary. And there's going to be the run boost, actually. Nice shot from Marcos. A little bit of a whiff spray from Flit. Definitely should have been able to shut down that opera before he got the shot off with how long it took to actually fire. And now it's going to be a 3 versus 5 situation. Very tough stuff coming through. But luckily, XC Power does have that big green stick. And he is using it effectively. Trading it evenly now, though. On site, Almaze is going to peek out wide. Nice flash coming through. Will get taken down by Bialy, who was still semi-blind. And Bialy jumps up on site, quickly shuts down XC Power. And now it's all on face crack. 1 versus 3 is going to go for the hero play. But will he actually be successful, or is he just gonna hold the line and maybe recover that op?
You can find Bialy. That's a nice little opening. There's one. We'll switch to the AK, and if he can get Marcus as well, he needs to remember K is very, very low. So while it's difficult, it's definitely doable. I say that, me and my big mouth. Marcos find him with the AWP. AVEZ make it 10, and FORZE just about able to buy into this.
Yeah, but it would be way too weak of a buy. I would say just go for an eco. They're not gonna go for an eco, okay? They're gonna go for 3 M4s, no head armor. And the utility is very lackluster on their side. XC Power, what is he gonna go for? Is he just gonna go for the FAMAS? Maybe Scout, because of course he is the opper.
I wholly expect FORZE to go for either fountain control, maybe short control. There's no way that they have this weaker buy and don't try and capitalize off it or make up for the lack of utility with the map control. AVEZ, don't get me wrong, they have the buy, but they don't have the economy. So again, this game is still so close. It will be the scout coming out on XC Power, you're right. Yeah, we'll have to see if FORZE decide to go for this A control or this B short control.
XC Power is keeping that extra $1,200 in his bank account for if they lose this round, they'll just full eco the next and then go for the buy round with an op for him to be able to use it. It's going to be Marcus peeking in. Flit has actually already passed the balloons and is in the playground area, so I think they are expecting this. I'm not sure. Yeah, they are definitely expecting this. They're peeking into the angle, but Flit might be in a very unexpected position because peek out wide from XC Power, gets tagged low, needs to get anything done. He, however, is going to lose that fight, but now Flit is being spotted out, taken down. Bialy gets a double to start the round off, and Bialy all of a sudden started waking up. Face cracks, trying to push forward, walks through the smoke, loses the fight against K, and this is just desperation coming out from FORZE trying to recover the round.
Absolutely, and again, I think AVEZ, great read. They're able to get down. XC Power to open it up. The trade was there from Flip, but you know, he's only good for one when you're against a team that has a strong teamwork like AVEZ. I think the push from K though, a little bit undisciplined. Well, the push into K, sorry, a little bit undisciplined. We're going to see Bialy now pushing up from long, trying to clear the safe site. And as you said before, you know, Bialy has been really effective in these last couple of rounds. Yeah, that's where he's got almost 90% of his kills from. He looks to get in towards bank with players exchanges. Almeza has to go huge. Kyla takes him down, and Jerry now looking to potentially just save the AK he can find towards Fountain if he's lucky.
Yeah, round loss for FORZE. They will hopefully be able to recover a weapon, and then just next round, maybe Jerry can make a hero play with that recovered M4. Well, there's an AK somewhere around there, most likely, unless they swapped it out for something else. Not the AK save, so Jerry should be positioned perfectly for the next round, and they should. I mean, it's just a free round for AVEZ, most likely. But I've seen so many games where you just lose that free round. You know, the
Absolutely.
USPs can still be deadly if there are 3 aiming at one person's head.
Absolutely. Jerry now needs to be careful as looks like AVEZ a little bit hungry for him. They are hunting, but they're not going too far. Their economy starting to really swell as well, because I haven't really been contested too heavily. It's been fairly clean rounds from them all around, and it means that FORZE have got to start doing damage, even if it's just with pistols. They just need to find kills and hopefully use those guns to try and kickstart something, because AVEZ is starting to snowball, and I think that's starting to make FORZE a little bit scared. We saw a few desperation plays from last round. We'll have to see if it transfers into this round as well.
Yeah, they do have That one AK rushed through the molly, and Ecstasy Power almost died. Did pick up the DZ close range, but they definitely heard the steps through the molly. They definitely heard the ticks of damage being dealt, so they are just going to hold the defensive angle on AVEZ, as is their good right. These are close range angles against pistols. It is, you know, you want to make sure that you don't accidentally walk into a stack, which at the B site, it does seem very much like they're going straight for it. Naura is going to get traded out. Jerry with that AK does get his team a kill, and a 1-for-1 is definitely something worthwhile on the side of FORZE for that defense. They're immediately going to rotate towards B. FaceCrack picks up that P250, and he's actually going to aggress forward, trying to pick up that AK. Peeks out wide, though, when he tries to grab the AK, but will lose his life. That, my friends, is greed. One of the 7 deadly sins.
I do like how quick FORZE were rotate towards a site. Unfortunately, with FaceCrack falling, it means that they do have to watch out for Kate, who is about to swing wide and try to take site control. He'll eventually be taken down by Jerry. They realize it's A, and Jerry swinging back around. He's done a great job to make space with this AK so far. We'll have to see just what more he can bring from it. Flash go out, push to follow, and he has to go huge. Unfortunately, Marcos, while a little flash actually is able to take him down. Flint now, he'll be holding on to that AK. 15 seconds left. He's on the wrong side of the map without armor or utility. But the only thing he can hope for is a quiet closing few seconds of the round.
That should be a solid 12-12. This round is not over. This map is not over. It is looking like AVEZ all of a sudden have woken up, got themselves a couple of rounds in a row, and FORZE, they have to find some strat that seems to work, because so far their aggressive pushes have been immediately snuffed out by AVEZ every single time.
Absolutely. And again, AVEZ with a very strong push towards this A site. I don't think we've really seen anything too out of the ordinary from them. It's just been standard execution, standard takes, and they've just been doing them well. And it's meant that FORZE, because of their unrelenting aggression, it means that they're usually going into these takes with a man disadvantage. And AVEZ, now they're starting to really group up. We've seen them taking connector with 3 people, then just leaving the players outside A and just wait. And FORZE, they've not really broken that spree of aggression, so it means that when AVEZ do go to execute, FORZE are either out of position or they're at a man disadvantage from contact they've made earlier in the round.
Yeah, they need something to happen right now in their favor. They actually have very little utility on FORZE. Very quick execute coming out from AVEZ. This spray gonna be perfect. A double spray down from FaceCrack. Tries to spray through the smoke and tries to upgrade to an AK, but unfortunately it was a little bit out of range. Ecstasy Power gets rid of Kylar, and K, the flash comes through, but the blind spray down from FaceCrack. He gets himself his 3rd of the round, and all of a sudden AVEZ, their hyper aggression towards that B site, they finally decide to change their approach, and it just gets snuffed out completely.
AVEZ losing a bit of patience there, as they do go for a fast play. FORZE completely shut it down, and I think AVEZ may have suspected FORZE to be out for the count. But they, you know, this shows they still have the power for a few more punches. As Marcos now, this lone player with the AWP. Don't get me wrong, AVEZ can full buy into this next round without a hitch. But losing AWPs can get expensive, and there's still 6 rounds, including this one, left of the half. So you need to be a bit more disciplined than that, especially if you want to buy these AWPs again and again.
And well, even if you drop the extra op, they could go for the double op setup on FORZE. You place one on A, one on B. There's always a possibility to deal with that nasty T-side AK for that 1 bullet potential. Marcos does get a shot into Almaze. Is going to peek out long. Missed shot coming through from Ecstasy Power. Great jump from Marcos. Shuts him down. 1 versus 2 has a possibility here. FaceCrack and Jerry need to rotate in, and he's going to be playing the toilets. Is this actually going to be Marcos with the big boy clutch?
And looking at the economy of FORZE as well, they can't afford to lose these players. This is really, really not looking good for them as well. They have no utility, and Marcos really feeling it from the looks of things. He isn't going to miss another shot. They're just going to have to hope to catch him out of position. They'll swing wide, almost like he down FaceCrack. No scope comes forward, but FaceCrack covering the distance, able to find him just in time. And well, there you have it. FORZE making it 13, but not nearly as clean as they probably would have hoped for. They are going to favor that single AWP setup, as they are able to buy into this again, but the util's not going to be as good as it could have been. We got a little replay of that spray down from FaceCrack there. Beautiful opening to the round here, and the third, while full blind.
A nice defensive hold coming out from FORZE. As you said, a little bit too costly for their taste in the end, but at least they managed to take the round and secure round number 13 in their favor. But if they lose this one, they are in the same predicament, whereas AVEZ still have a little bit of extra cash. Again, getting super aggressive on their CT side, but it gets read immediately by AVEZ, and that is a man advantage. Both sides are playing some of these very aggressive plays without any either backup or just a straight up rush, trying to overwhelm the enemy while they're not paying attention. But AVEZ is not falling for it, and neither is FORZE.
For sure, and I think that's a bit like you said, needless. Follow-up is there though. Jerry and XSC Power able to get the re-aggression. That's going to kickstart the execute onto this B site. FaceCrack now going to be that man. Possibility that nade's perfect. He's flashed out of position and he's alive, which is all he needs to do. Buying time, allowing the rotations to come on through. They are at a man disadvantage, but AVEZ still have absolute kill potential. Going to this Bialy spotted. Almeida's taking a lot of damage actually. As he looks, rather than drop down, just stay up. Bialy going to find FaceCrack. That's a bit of a miscom. The secondary smoke goes down. Bialy gonna be found. XSC Power finding Marcos. It's all on K. 7 HP and a dream. As we'll see him coming up from that side. However, Jerry will find him. FORZE make it 14. And now they looked panicky. They looked scared for a couple of rounds, but they've started to like clench their fist and get a grip back onto the second half, as it is 14-12. AVEZ still absolutely able to come back into this, but their money not going to survive another round.
That was another nice hold coming out. Of course, as you said, a little bit of miscommunication there on the B bomb side. FaceCrack had his back turned to his opponents, and he had no idea that they were that close, or had zero cover from his teammates, and just got shut down. So that's a little learning moment right there. Nice nade coming out from FaceCrack, getting rid of Bialy and another man advantage. Peeking out towards Monster. He's actually holding that B site nicely, but now Laser, the spray down comes out. K gets a double. He's gonna go for the triple, and they immediately take down the entire FORZE lineup. Just the two players, K and Kyler, they just absolutely annihilate FORZE. They do not have enough money for a full buy, but they are gonna go for the op defensive buy on FORZE.
And it looks like K and Kyler there just said enough's enough. K finding two after Kyler's one in connector. K finds a third. Kyler finds a follow-up. And FORZE just melt. That was disgustingly quick there. As AVEZ going to have another timeout, probably to compose themselves after winning a round like that. We see Kyler going 27-18. As his counterpart XSC currently going 24-17 as well. Unfortunately, FORZE with a round advantage, but not an economic advantage. Will be pistols on 3 of the players. XSC Power and FaceCrack going to have that AWP and MP9. And FORZE, you know, sometimes the aggression works, sometimes it's too much. And with that utility advantage, or with that damage advantage they got with their utility, they didn't need to continue re-peeking short. They could have allowed AVEZ to come into them. Fortunately though, AVEZ now with the round, with the economy, and with the guns as we head into rounds 28.
XSC Power, what kind of play can he make? He does have the big gun, and he needs to open up quickly. He's going to go towards B short. There is no molly to hold him off this time, but they are not going to peek in that area themselves. So XSC Power peek out wide. No one spotted, no one even inching in that direction. They're even falling further and further back because they are terrified of walking into a push or a stack. And that means FORZE, they can rotate slightly towards that A site, because they have a player in B short holding the push, and they have a player in connector to hold the XSC Power's flank as well. And that means well, FORZE can get some very nice aggressive positions taken here with those close range, the CZ Deagle and the SMG on FaceCrack as well. Close range angles always terrifying to deal with. Molly coming through, it's actually going to tick Flit, and he has to toss down the smoke to try and keep himself alive. That does give intel that there is a player inside connector, so everyone now knows where that player is, but where is the rest of FORZE?
And FORZE with this aggressive short push. FaceCrack now going to be that point of contact. Flash goes out, the push about to follow. Actually, there's no flash at all to come, so FaceCrack going to be caught off guard completely. He won't find Narwhal either. And so FORZE now, they need to find his 2 players, and quickly the smoke goes down. Jerry going to be man with a bit of responsibility right now, as he's going to hear that push go out. He's able to retrieve his teammate's MP9. He'll find Narwhal. He'll get that planter as well. The trade is there, though, from Bialy. As K will find Almeza on the flank. It's now down to just Ecstasy Power. AWP in hand, 1 versus 3, and he doesn't want to go for it. And Ecstasy Power actually really needs to hold on to this AWP. AVEZ going to tie it up 14-14. And we look at the economy of FORZE. It's in ruins. Ecstasy Power, if he loses this AWP, then FORZE are looking like they have the potential to lose the game, as this power weapon must be held on to.
It's getting closer and closer. It is also getting closer, of course, to that OT position, which I wouldn't mind watching a little bit OT. There's a lot of rounds where most of the rounds actually have been pretty weaker buys from either of the 2 sides. No real big saves to get all the utility and weaponry you want. And I'd like to see a couple of rounds where these teams go head to head with everything that they need. All the, the big green gun, all the utility as well. As you can see, FORZE, they're going to go for, they're just going to go for the straight OT play.
Absolutely. I'm kind of curious to see if we'll see a double AWP setup come out as well, especially if they have the liberty to do so. As we'll see Ecstasy Power out, going for initial peek on mid, and can he get it? This question will be flashed out of position. He'll fall on away. As Narwhal able to secure it for himself without too much hassle.
Won't spot anyone out, and Narwhal will be already in the playground, and that's kind of dangerous because he can get shot from behind. If he's not careful, he's going to head towards the connector area where he is pretty much a sitting duck. If they push him from both angles, an AWP can't really hold a single defense there. He's going to peek out wide. Nice shot. That's an opener for FORZE, and a big one at that. They really need multiple kills. Peek out wide. Great job by Jerry with a massive flash from Bialy. Another peek out wide. Bialy's going to drop down, and that is Split getting rid of Marcos with the USP. What is happening all of a sudden? Kyler, 1 versus 3. They do have an op on Almazer, an AK on Flit, and FaceCrack with the USP. But it is problematic. FaceCrack's actually hiding on site, waiting for Kyler to walk in through. Gets the headshot in close range. Opshot's gonna whip the spray down, and Kyler with the 1 versus 3 clutch turns it around, and AVEZ are now on map point.
I thought that was over the second it went into a 1 versus 3 there. Kyler, an amazing clutch from him. Unfortunately, Almeza aggressing a bit too early on there. I think he could have been alright staying firm. As what a clutch, Flip falling as well. And FORZE now, finally, after long last at a round disadvantage, AVEZ have clawed their way back into this round, and now they're really reaping the rewards of it, as they're going into this with utility, with economy. FORZE, on the other hand, it would just be a scout in the hands of Ecstasy Power.
Oh, flash is coming through. Ecstasy Power completely blinded and sprayed down. A man advantage now for AVEZ, and oh, what a great turn from Narwhal. Shuts down Flit. Absolutely annihilated. And Jerry is the last man currently on that A side. 2-man advantage. And they've got decent amount of utility left on AVEZ compared to 2 smokes on FORZE, which is going to be, well, not enough to hold off this AVEZ push.
And this is looking absolutely harrowing for FORZE right now. They've played so well in the second half. They did a great job in the first half as well. So they're going to have to see if they can... Are they going to falter just before the end of the game? Narwhal going to be aggressing firm. Looks like Almeza looking to push forward, and Narwhal will find him. A 3k from him so far. Jerry needs to have an unbelievable performance. FaceCrack is nowhere near him, as Jerry needs to find 2 or 3. He'll find 1. That's a good start. Bialy trades. FaceCrack. 1 versus 4 to keep FORZE in the game. As that plant's going to go down. It'll go down on default. FaceCrack won't even have players aggressing into him. He's got a smoke between him and the bomb. He doesn't even have a kit. That's Kate. Aggression in the right place will find him as well. Push comes forward from FaceCrack. He's going to bump into K in the smoke without realizing it. K takes him down. And AVEZ make it 16-14 as they take it against FORZE.
Yeah, that was a very nice recovery from AVEZ, going down to the wire, and it was a tough game for both sides. I am impressed with AVEZ's performance. Can they keep this up, though, in Inferno, which is, of course, the map pick of their opponents, FORZE, who have had a pretty massive showing on that map, a lot better than their performance so far on Overpass. Yeah. What do you think is going to happen in map number 2?
Absolutely. Honestly, looking at this, FORZE, even though they lost the map, they had a really, really great showing. As we did say AVEZ would win this, but I think both of us kind of expected it to be a bit more one-sided. As AVEZ, we look at Kyla, 31-18, they're playing as mind, that 1 versus 3 as well, keeping AVEZ in the game. And, that can only happen so many times. As FORZE now going to be going on to their home ground of Inferno. I suspect they'll take it. I think it's definitely going to go to Nuke. FORZE, by all means, aren't out of this. It's been a great showing from them. They've really, really made AVEZ work for it. So I do suspect it will be Inferno going in favor of FORZE.
Yeah, and that pretty much sums it up for the first map. We'll be back after these messages for map number 2. Don't you go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hello and welcome to Malta Vibes. We've got, well, Forza and AVEZ going on to Inferno. Malta Vibes has been brought to you by Gaming Malta, a home of gaming excellence. And, well, we take a look at Inferno. You know, Overpass was a fairly one-sided affair. Well, that wasn't actually. It was very, very close. I suspect Inferno will be a one-sided affair between Forza and AVEZ. Joining you to take you through this is DK Truman. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling like this will go to a third map. I do hope that we're going to see a very good showing of AVEZ versus FORZE on that Inferno match. I think that in Overpass, I do love aggressive plays, but at one point in the second half, I saw AVEZ make some aggressive plays which were completely unnecessary and without any backup. Same thing for FORZE. Their CT side defense, they tried to go for these flanking plays or aggressive pushes, but every single time they were just completely read by AVEZ, and they didn't decide to fall back or anything. They just continued on trying to plow through with their strategies, and it just did not pay off in the end for FORZE, and AVEZ managed to turn the tide. I do hope that we're going to see a little bit more of a more composed, strategic version of FORZE in the second map, where on their CT side, where they're going to be playing more off each other, because a lot of these pushes were also solo, like pushing the fountain. I think they pushed 3 times the fountain solo, with a player getting towards either the fountain or close to playground, and they definitely need to be they at least need one extra player to be in the near vicinity to try and back him up if it all goes wrong.
Absolutely, and we take a look at the statistics of Inferno as well. I believe it's AVEZ. They currently do not have a good win-loss. They've won 2 out of 7. They're currently on a 5-loss streak. The most recent one against Zacko Boars, 16-12. They lost. They were 16-3. Level up 16-9 against Simon and Crazy. And you know, AVEZ just don't like Inferno. They took this veto with maps that they don't want to play rather than maps that FORZE are good at. So it means that we go onto a map where FORZE are really, really strong. You know, they've got a lot of experience on Inferno. They take down some good teams on Inferno. And this is essentially their playground, you know. Recently, they've beat Simon, AGF. We've got Nordavins there. These are some really high-tier teams, you know, tier 2, tier 3 teams that they're taking down on Inferno. And so AVEZ really have their work cut out for them. However, we said that about FORZE on Overpass. If we do have the same repeat, it could be a very close game. I'm convinced this is going to go to game 3, but I'd love to see how close AVEZ can make Inferno.
Yeah, one of the nicer things I like to see, especially if the higher skill you achieve, pretty much the higher rated the team is, the more the odds, the sides on Inferno tend to change between the CT and the T side. And for a team like FORZE, for instance, they are actually better on the T side than on the CT side. That has to do with smoke executes, the fake strat, you know, pulling the people away from A to B to or B to A, and executing with a, you know, complete faith in your teammates that they'll be holding the flank. They do have a lot of faith in each other. That's why you saw in that, I can't remember who I think it was Face Crack, that I still remember on the B site defending, where he just completely trusted his teammates to hold his back. Didn't pay off because, well, they didn't give either info or anything, but that kind of trust is definitely a big plus. And we're going towards the knife round, where, I mean, for FORZE, it doesn't really matter what side they start on, honestly. AVEZ probably would prefer the CT side, and most likely are going to be able to start on the CT side. Unless XSC Power goes big.
It could happen. It could absolutely happen. 1 versus 3, he's in prime position. However, AVEZ not shifting. They're all stacked up in second mid, not even giving him a chance. They just waits for XSC Power. He jumps down, he'll find one. He'll find a second, actually. We're going to see another knife round clutch coming forward. K closing the distance as he pushes on closer to XSC Power. And he'll win it! XSC Power able to take the 1 versus 3 to open up Inferno for FORZE. And if that isn't a tale of what things to come, I don't know what it is.
He actually got all 5 kills as well. Knife round ace. That's not something you see too often. But yeah, we have ourselves a nice little chicken map. I miss Cobble. But AVEZ, FORZE are actually... No, they're going to start on the CT side. The names still need to swap around a little bit. It should be Pretty tough for them. As you can see, the odds 1.23 odds for FORZE at LootBet, our partner. And it definitely does tell a story how little faith everyone has in AVEZ on this one. Of course, they did get proven wrong on that first map, but these odds definitely tell a bigger story than that 1.5 on the first run.
Absolutely.
Quick aggression.
I agree with those odds completely.
Yeah, same.
It's not that AVEZ are bad, it's just that FORZE are really, really good on Inferno. I should see XSE power picking up towards mid, hoping to get a bit of contact. He'll spot that initial player, but no real damage has been done yet. AVEZ will fall down to 40 HP or so, as at the expense of one of those Glocks rattling off and finding his head. But again, AVEZ in a bit of a default.
They still have a decent amount of utility here on AVEZ, smoke double flash, so they could zone out a certain area. And FORZE are completely stacking on that B site, which could be problematic because how far they are pushed on that B site means the rotations are going to take a very long time. Luckily, they do have a kit on Flit, but it is a long run to make. And XSE power plus Jerry need to go big. Jerry starts off nicely, clears out apartments already on site. A lot of tags coming through. They are staying alive through it all, and that is big. Spots a play going towards Graveyard, and that is all the info his teammates need to know, that there's one stuck in that angle. He's trying to jump away. He does jump towards the pit area, and Jerry, he might have actually completely missed that jump through from Naurot.
Absolutely, and FORZE, even though they don't have utility, they've got 3 players from AVEZ traps on site. Facecrack can open up, finding K to follow up there, as he'll find Kyler. Marcos, though, able to respond in turn. AVEZ finds one, and Jerry tearing the head clean off of Marcos, and FORZE there just descends onto that site like an avalanche. They completely shut down any push from AVEZ, securing themselves the first round, and that was really well played by Jerry to get that initial kill in apps, and just fall back and wait for his team, and play for info, and use that to really capitalize on his, well, the push that came forward afterwards against AVEZ there.
The plus side of the fact that they are really good at playing the T side on this map, of course, does mean that they're very excellent at doing retakes as well. For the rest, the buy comes out. We are going to see 3 AKs on the side of AVEZ, so a very solid buy. Nade whiffing a little bit, but is it going to be enough to hold them? I mean, it's ridiculous that you can start off with 3 AKs on the T side in the second round.
Especially, granted, they did get that bomb plant, which is what they're going for, and it has meant 3 players are left with absolutely nothing, that being Narwhal and Bialy. And Kyler, I expect him to see an AK. He had such a strong performance on Overpass as well. As they are going to be descending on mid, and also with a 3-man setup towards Arch, once Jerry's able to rotate in turn, it does leave AVEZ, that lone player, on that B site.
They are heavy grouping, but because AVEZ is just jump peeking, it's still dangerous against an AKs, of course. Scout comes out, but they're double holding along, and K might not expect the second play in Facecrack there, but K is just going to try and fall back. They're heading towards the B site. AVEZ needs to drop that smoke. They get rid of K. That means an AK is down. Flash comes through, but the first one with the Glock is going to get taken down. Marcos through the smoke, gets the headshot onto AVEZ. Peek out wide, nice execution coming. Oh my god, Kyler! Oh, Kyler goes big with the triple! Securing the round for AVEZ. What a massive play, just standing there in the middle of the open and shutting them completely down.
Kyler, he has a thing or two to say about this game. He's done amazing on Overpass. 1 versus 3 after 1 versus 2, and that's just embodied here. He's really feeling it. 2 very quick kills. That third is just the icing on the cake there, preventing any push. You don't need a CT smoke if you're on AVEZ. And as they're able to set that second round, stopping FORZE from finding the conversion. They will also be forcing up though, but they don't quite have the caliber of force that we saw from AVEZ there.
A decent amount of damage dealt. The flash comes through. He peeks out wide. Does a lot of damage though to both Marcos and K, but unfortunately does not secure a kill rotation coming in. That means that both sides are going to be spread thin. So running into a CZ with that little amount of HP could be disastrous. They have a big stack coming out from FORZE. AVEZ, if they have one flanker to peek out towards A, they might actually read that the site is empty, but they're going to go for that B push nonetheless. The angle of the smoke should give a lot away. He's completely flashed. Jerry is blind. Boost comes up, and Bialy gets taken down. A double for face crack. The save from Flit as well. They're down low on HP. And there is a possibility. It is a little bit tougher right now. 5-7. Mark's actually going to rotate all the way towards A. And that is a very nice read. However, if he drops Kyler right here, he could be picking up himself an AK. But Kyler, he is too good. Right now, he has completely woken up after that first map, and 5-1 for Kyler to start this map off.
Absolutely, and right now nothing's going to get past Kyler. Like, he is just unstoppable. It was going to take a force in nature to even begin to contest him right now. We saw it was ecstasy power with the orb to stop him before he can even get the fight, but even then, you know, the man finished over past 31 kills. I suspect it'll be a similar situation here. AVEZ really showing some strength on this T side of Inferno, and we're potentially looking at 2-0 here. It might be early days to say, but FORZE now on an eco, and might be looking a bit uncomfortable.
Unfortunately, luckily they do manage to trade it out. I was thinking that could be very disastrous if they walk into the blender there, but luckily the flank gets held nicely, and now it's all on Flit. 1 versus 4 will get executed by Marcos, of course, and that is 3 rounds for AVEZ, but now the full buy round should be coming through with the op on ecstasy power, who still doesn't have a frag yet, but should be able to secure one with that big gun. There are a couple of nice angles to hold and hard peaks to make on this map with for the T side against the CT side op.
Absolutely, and again, this is the first time we've really been FORZE struggle in the opening. Well, for the start of their Inferno, usually it's so strong. They open in such a dominating fashion that any rounds that are picked up by the enemy are in these closing out rounds that are able to finally adjust their gameplay. But AVEZ, they seem to be fairly tuned in to their playstyle. You know, this buy round for FORZE, they need it if they want to have confidence in this first half. And AVEZ, we've seen they've got FORZE scared. Yeah, they've got 3 players towards that B site. It's only 2 on this A site, and if ecstasy power falls without getting a kill, then Flit is going to be in a hell of a lot of trouble.
This might be just a very quick GG on this round. If they don't get enough kills in return, they might just get flushed out, and the rotations are too long to most likely go for the retake. And there's going to be the flashes coming through. Now we're just jumping through. Flip going for the spray, loses his life. The op onside, ecstasy power going to get the shots in. He's with 2 shots so far, and Bialy executes him. That is going to be a problematic round to retake. Immediately called for the save on FORZE. Guessed incorrectly with the 3-man B stack, and AVEZ are going to take round number 4 in their favor.
And yeah, that's just incredible for AVEZ there. The execution worked perfectly. FORZE, it's sloppy from ecstasy power to miss that many shots on players who weren't even looking at him. Bialy, though, very quick to get that trade. You know, it was a swift execution on that center site. And even though we do discredit ecstasy power there for missing those shots, Bialy did only give him a chance to miss 2. So AVEZ, clean round, clean execute. They get that site. The trades are perfect as they make it 4 and start to look at building an economy. Bialy already with 6k before the rounds even ended. And so he'll be able to drop now with relative ease. Marcos holding onto that orb as well. Means that AVEZ are going to have a sweltering economy as they look to progress further.
That's a great start for AVEZ, something they desperately need on this map. And FORZE, they need to start waking up. They're in a slump after that second half last map. They have just been in a constant slump. They have the star power in their lineup. They just need to use it. We are going to see ecstasy power on that scout. They're going to go for the quick early 3-man B defense off the bat, and it's ecstasy power with that scout. Is he going to go for the peek against Marcos with the off? Big utility usage in Banana, and K is going to peek out wide with the flash. Flash came through. They want to go for the boost here on FORZE, but they do, man. Okay. Jerry jumping wide. K does expect the jump peak to come through, and they're just going to fall back.
A lot of noise made on that boost by FORZE there. K was able to comment perfectly and able to prevent any control made at all in Banana. And that's Jerry and Almeza now looking to fight for it. No swings to come. K going to get one of the traders there, though, by Jerry. He's ready for Arrow as well. Unfortunately, the timing isn't quite what he would have hoped. He does flash himself in his panic. as XSC Power going to push up as well. AVEZ with the more players in Banana ready to fight for this. Jerry finding one more, and now this is what he's doing. He's starting to really wake up, starting to be a bit more confident. Kyler's able to trade though, and Marcos waiting for XSC Power to aggress here. There's no flash to flash him in either.
Kyler's down to 6 HP, so that's a lot of damage dealt. There's still 2 players close range. FaZeCrack and XSC Power peeks out wide, gets the tag onto Marcos. Double spray from FaZeCrack, and it's all onto Bialy to try and clutch this round out. Smoke is going to hold him off from the push. But XSC Power just switches his gun inside the smoke, and Bialy sprays right through it, shuts him down. As you look at the HP, FaZeCrack is down to 13. Flit has 100, so it is very doable for Bialy to clutch this one out. He's going to go for the molly in towards New Box. Oh no, actually, all second oranges. Sorry, and I assume he does expect the player to be in New Box. Peek out wide. The flash did not blind Bialy. The plant's coming in. Gets baited out, but Flit does win the straight duel after pushing through the smoke. And FORZE secure themselves another round. That was very risky, but did pay off for FORZE.
Absolutely, and that was a beautiful round from AVEZ there in that clutch. You know, being able to predict that push to come through, being able to find it. Unfortunately, losing the aim duel, it does mean FORZE make it 2. We're going to see them able to buy up into this perfectly. XSC Power will be on that glass cannon AWP though, but when you're taking ranges such as mid or top banana, it doesn't matter too much because the util is going to be the only thing that will damage you at that range, especially when you get the holding advantage. As FaZeCrack also going to be playing quite aggressive in mid, actually. Maybe you're going to be flashed through that.
But yeah, they're just going to fall back. XSC Power is going to hold the banana. That means you can play 4 towards A and 1 towards B. The dangerous part of it is, of course, if XSC Power gets overwhelmed by 1 flash and falls back, they could easily take care of that Opera inside banana, and once he falls, B is completely empty, and you always have to fear that quick push from AVEZ towards that B side. But it seems they're going to go towards A. They're going to go for the boost towards the long area, but it's not going to pay off. They don't get the real spot that they are looking for. Flit gets rid of Kyler. The molly does hit Kyler. Does it? I don't even know who hit it, but it hit someone right in the face. And they're immediately rotating towards the B site where XSC Power, he has to go big. He gets flashed off the angle, falls back, is going to go for the repeat, but they actually spot him out, try to chase him down. They know that he is towards the short area, have to wait for the smoke to deploy, and he's going to go for the shot, but the bomb is actually the last one to push through. XSC Power, nice defensive hold. Oh my god, the shot through the glass takes down Narok with a headshot, and that is all on Marcos. Flit sprays him through, and a very good retake defense coming up from FORZE. AVEZ, they do have a little bit of money in the bag, but that was an amazing shot from XSC Power.
That was absolutely phenomenal from XSC Power there. What a shot. And I tell you what, if you're on the side of AVEZ, what do you say? You know, what do you say to justify that? It was perfect. Now what? Just losing his head clean through that glass there, and you know they lost the retake, unfortunately. Well, they lost their defense, fortunately. And I do want to draw your attention to our partners at Hellcase. Hellcase is the biggest and most known case opening website with almost 100 cases, updated case battle upgrader, dozens of giveaways per month, and absolutely more unique features. You won't be bored with Hellcase. Use promo code Malta5 to save more and grab what you deserve.
Exactly, Hellcase are amazing partner. In the meantime, however, AVEZ did go for a full buy this round, and it does seem they want to go for an execute towards B side where they have to deal with 3 players. A little bit of attack to Amazing, but not too much damage dealt. Oh, the burn molly onto Narot gets him taken down. He has to jump in aggressively, and that is gonna put a man advantage on the side of FORZE. They went for the double op this time, so they do have those long-range engagements down.
Absolutely, and again, FORZE again with a man advantage here. That Mac 10 in the hands of K, going to be that point of contact. A minute left, execution lined up. They are against 2 players right now. As they swing through that, it looks like it'll be a CT wrap they're facing the prospect of right now, and that rotation will be fast. It comes in from Arch there. Jerry backside, he'll spot one. He'll be traded by K though. AVEZ are going to be that only player towards the site. His teammates are towards CT though, so the fast rotation will be there. Marcos finding AVEZ. As that follow-up smoke going to prevent any more pushes. Bialy holding firm in Barbie or in pits, waiting for these FORZE players. All three of them coming in from CT. One from Archer, or two from Archers now, one from CT. That molly going to force them out of emo. And face crack going to be that point of contact. We'll spot that first player going down towards New Box. Able to get just a bit closer, shifting inch by inch closer. As that smoke goes off, they'll shift forward. As face crack finds Bialy, K able to trade. Follow-up kill there. Ecstasy Power taking down Marcos. It's all on K now. Position node 1 versus 2. Unfortunately, Flint able to find him. That bomb's sticking down, and AVEZ, by the grace of time, are able to make it 5-3 against FORZE.
Yeah, but almost everyone drops on both sides. The money for AVEZ after winning that round is still very problematic. On the side of FORZE, same thing. They don't have that much money left. Luckily, they managed to save the op, so they will be able to drop that one back to XCC Power, who has slightly started to wake up in the round. Okay, this is a very far replay coming through with Marcos and his triple spray down. Sorry, Geiler with the triple spray down. Oh, that one. It still is absolutely beautiful, though.
Cool. And look at these highlights right now. We're only a handful of rounds in, and we're already seeing just phenomenal plays left, right, and center. And before we even finish the first third of this game, if that's a taste of what's to come, then we're in for a treat. As we are going to see FORZE buying up again. It will be FAMAS's M4's XC Power. Going to be able to get that AWP as well. Unfortunately, no utility to support it on him. As AVEZ still holding on to that Mac 10 in the hands of Nolwatts. As everyone else again holding on to these AKs. Got Galil on Bialy though. Power aggressive towards Banana.
You win the round and you have that weak of a buy. That is pretty saddening to see, of course. Especially not having an extra op for Marcos to use in this round. Has he even picked up? Probably has had an op in his hand so far, but it does look like they're going to go for that aggressive apps push play again. They do have a quick rotation in from Jerry, though, so it's almost a 4-man A defense. They have A long on lockdown, and they know what's coming. With the position of XC Power, they know that they're not going to go towards the B so far. Of course, last time we did see XC Power falling back all the way and then getting that massive headshot through the glass. So it is still very possible that they head that direction, but they're just going to rush out. Smoke, the flashes come through. Flit with a triple spray down, holding the line, and the last one is Marcos. Can he make some magic happen? It is very unlikely with the flank coming out from Jerry, and that is a quick round in favor of FORZE. No money left in the bank for AVEZ, and they are going to have to, well, they're going to have to force because they need a triple eco otherwise.
Absolutely, and what a shot. What an opening from Flit there. Controlled discipline, we zoom in anti-flash, it allows him to just open up fairly heavily, gets that first kill, follows up with the second, able to fall back, keep composed as he finds the third. His teammate able to trade as they find a fourth as well.
And these two teams, they really are very competitive between against each other. As you can see with the kills and the score so far, K is gonna get shut down by XC Power at the start of the round. Actually, was that even XC Power? No, that was... Yeah, it was XC Power. I think the kill is in the...
In the name, it's hard to see.
Yeah. But yeah, aggressive hold from AVEZ. Nice dig shot from Geiler. Dropping the upper. Giving them the slight possibility here, especially if he gets the one tap onto Flit. He does know that he's there. Did spot him out. Are they going to go for the peak? No, they're just going to smoke off Banana.
And Flit now needs to be careful. He'll take a bit more damage from Kyler.
Bomb has been dropped. Last man standing. Bialy, he's going to try and retrieve the bomb, but the flank is very close and will not win the duel against Flit, who didn't just get a lot of kills in 2 rounds. 12-5 for Flit so far. 5-5 in score between FORZE and AVEZ. And AVEZ, well, they have to go for another eco.
And FORZE now seem to have found their stride as we enter the midpoint of this first, well, around midpoint of this first half. AVEZ, having lost a string of rounds now, going to be on a bit of an eco. It looks like it will just be a fast B play. Ecstasy Power going to spot this fairly early on as well. They wait for the initial nades. They wait for contact to be made, and it will be a flash in from Bialy to open it up.
It is going to be a peek in. XC Power gets rid of one, falls all the way back. They need to hurry and rush him down. Nice shot from XC Power, and Jerry chiming in as well. Last man standing is going to get annihilated by that big op from XC Power, raking in a couple of eco frags so that at least his score is finally a positive one.
Absolutely. And, well, there you have it. FORZE take the lead. It's clean, it's concise. They're able to build economy off the back of that. Jerry and FaceCrack both hitting 8k right now. And having lost nothing in that round, that is a beautiful economy builder for them. AVEZ, on the other hand, will be a full buy, but they've brought down to 0 on most of their players. Now what, going to have the most with 250 bucks. That's a flashbang and a decoy grenade. As I can see Jerry going aggressive down mid. See that fighting now. What swings there? Jerry finds Marcos, and that's a beautiful bit of aggression there. You are able to trade FaceCrack and Flit, though, finding players of their own. K now, that lone player, able to push up towards top banana, but he doesn't have the bomb, he doesn't have teammates, and he doesn't have much hope. As round 12 looks like it's going to end fairly soon.
Yeah, he has to go really big here. Might get the kill onto Almazer if he spots out the angle in time. Does spot the head. Is going to execute Almazer, and that puts him in a 1v3, but Flit knows exactly where he is. So does K, though. Another one. Oh, it's possible. But XC Power is too quick on that op and will shut him down. So that is going to put AVEZ in a very tough position because they can buy a couple of deagles, but there's no full buy potential really here. So maybe go for a quick A play. I mean, FORZE do like to stack 3 players towards that B side, so if you just rush, you know, second mid towards mid and try to execute quickly, you could overwhelm them.
For sure, for sure. We're going to see AVEZ now on, again, just a bad buy. They've started to, they had a bit of momentum at the start of this game, but it's really been cancelled out. FORZE showing us why they're considered for their region and for, wow, that sums it up, doesn't it? Not only for their region, but for their tier. One of the best Inferno teams in this kind of CIS tier 2, tier 3 scene. They just stomp AVEZ right now. It's beautiful spray down from FaceCrack as well. Look at that, just merciless as FORZE able to find yet another round, making it 8 now as they lead 8-5 against AVEZ.
That was, well, that was my entire strategy out the window.
Yeah.
They didn't really flash or smoke anything off, and they had a nice crossfire from, oh, another aggressive move through mid from Jerry. And he's staying close angle with XC Power on that up. Is he gonna, oh, he did spot the jump. But there is going to be Kyla closer than he expected. Kyla gets a double. Kyla has to go big again, but the spray coming out. Flit is going to get annihilated by Marcos. And this is very possible for AVEZ. It's a 4-on-2 situation. They have the bomb there, pushing it towards the B side, though. And Almazer, he doesn't know what's up exactly. He's trying to go for a little bit of extra information. Kyla's going to head towards the CT side and flank around, it seems. Yeah, he's going CT towards B, flanking that B defense, and this might be a perfect read from AVEZ to secure round number 6.
We're gonna have to see hero play from Almazer right now. So it'll be spot. That smoke's gonna get dropped. And actually, what's quite interesting is that smoke on CT has prevented the flank from killing him. It's meant that he's got time, and it means that Kyla now coming in from ruins. His position's unknown. He will kill Almazer, but it's a bit long-winded.
Now, the fact that FaceCrack got killed and they know the last player is on B side, that means a free bomb plan's coming in. And they have him boxed in towards that B site as well. K is going to peek out. And a double spray from Almazer does have a possibility. He still has a kit on his back. However, Kyler is close range. Does he expect him? He does go the other direction, though. Kyler's on 10 HP. Marcos does have an op, but if he whiffs that shot, he can definitely be taken out by Almazer, so they have to be very careful.
Absolutely, and if Almazer wins this, it's just going to be harrowing for AVEZ. I think it's 4 or 5 rounds they've lost in a row now. Losing this one as well, it could spell the end for them. before the half's even over. He comes forward. Almeza finds Marcos. Unfortunately, time has ticked and the damage is done. We look at the economy of AVEZ. They couldn't really afford to lose that many players, as we won't see an AWP in the hands of Marcos again, at least for this round.
Well, 6 rounds for AVEZ. I mean, they feel a little more comfortable on the CT side, whereas FORZE feel more comfortable on the T side. So it's kind of tough to really see if they did a good job on their T side. I would say that they're definitely happy if they manage to secure this next round. 7 rounds on their T side, but as previously mentioned, FORZE, they do have a higher win rate on their T side themselves, so it is still very dangerous to deal with these executes.
Jerry now boosted up. Let's see if he can pick off one of these AVEZ players as they aggress towards Banana. Now what will be that point of contact? It could be a boost coming up as well. And he's quick. Not quick enough though. Almeza able to trade as Narwhal takes down Jerry. And K, that's all AVEZ needed. The execution comes out, the push comes forward, and face crack going to be that point of contact as he's able to get down towards Ruins. He isn't smoked off, so he might be able to catch off the odd player. His work's cut out for him. K able to take him down. Split and ecstasy power now. 2 versus 4.
Yeah, and with they have a little bit of utility. They can flush out 2 angles, but it is very tough to retake the B bomb site with 2 versus 5. They have a 2 versus 4. They have a full defensive setup coming in. They have a little bit of utility coming out. Ecstasy power is going to peek out wide. The shadow should get spotted first, and he's going to get taken out by K. That means last man standing is Flit. Will he be able to get anything done? Not really. K shuts him down as well, and that is AVEZ. 7 rounds, FORZE 8. And I would say AVEZ are still pretty damn happy with their results so far.
Yeah, that is a rough one for FORZE. They had, well, so much so in the sense that they had a massive win spree there, and they could have closed out the half in a fairly convincing fashion. 10-5 would have been brilliant for them. AVEZ, though, those closing 2 rounds of the half, it doesn't sound much out of context, but here, it shows that, you know, they're still making a showing. They won overpass, and FORZE have gone from a comfortable round for them before they go into next. We take a look at our partners over at Loot Bets, and they still agree. They believe that the odds are stacked against AVEZ right now. FORZE probably going to take this 4-1, essentially. What do you think of that, Truman?
Yeah, just like last map, after the first half, the odds haven't changed that much. But yeah, 1.2 odds versus 4. I would say with the performance of AVEZ that I would rate that, you know, I'd give them a little bit more credit. They have been looking pretty good, but Ecstasy Power and FORZE are rushing towards that B side. Rotations are slow so far, and they are almost on site. Nice execution coming out. Narod getting a double. The tap from K, he needs to get that kill, and finally they do manage to shut down the FORZE push, completely losing no one. I mean, they whiffed a lot of shots here on AVEZ, and still they managed to win that fight. That one was nice from Narod. But this one,
that's the beautiful 3K there. K took him a moment to warm up to the rounds, but once he found the first, he you know, he tied it together, securing the pistol round for AVEZ. And now FORZE have got to start sweating. They need to start worrying. It will be a force buy coming out from them, and if they lose this, they're onto an eco. AVEZ, they're going to start running away with this game if FORZE can't bring themselves back into this.
But look at the amount of the weapons that AVEZ are going for. 4 SMGs and a scout. That is, I mean, they expect the buy to come out, but that is a really, I mean, not a single rifle. They're not expecting the long range fights at all. They're banking on the fact that FORZE are going to come running at them, and they are doing exactly that. Molly gets tossed down to try and hold them off. There's the close range fights coming through. SMG 1-for-1 trade. Nade on site could do a lot of damage, but they still haven't cleared up everything. Marcos chimes in onto Jerry. There's still one up in apps. Who is going to peek out wide? Ecstasy Power gets spawned out, but Kyler was completely out in the open. Last man standing, Ecstasy Power with that Deagle. Needs to get the kill onto Naura, but will not be able to secure the finisher there. And that is 9-8 in favor of AVEZ on their CT side. And another round for, well, that should be a 10-8 coming through.
Absolutely, and for a second there, that looks dangerous for AVEZ. FORZE able to get pit control, able to start clearing out these A-site players, but I really liked, I believe it was Nawa, on center site. I loved how he just sat back, hunkered down, and waited for those players and waited for the support to come. And once it did come, he swang with his team and he just picked off those players. You know, he secured that site, and it's put FORZE now into a really difficult position.
Yeah, there's a pretty problematic couple of rounds for FORZE right now. They will go for a little bit of a spread out, but that nade unfortunately does not really connect. No armor on any of the players for FORZE, so they have to put themselves in and hope that they overwhelm, just completely swarm their opponents. Marcos is playing the scout though inside library, so does need to be a little bit careful, because if they rush quickly without any CT defense, yeah, they come. They are in CT all of a sudden. Luckily the SMG from B already rotated in, but it's not. Okay, never mind. It just turns around nicely. Jerry does pick up the SMG, but they swap it out, and it's a nice, clean round for AVEZ, only losing Narot. And they mainly had SMGs anyway on AVEZ, so you don't lose too much. They have such a solid bank behind them.
Absolutely, and you know, I'm in awe really with how well AVEZ are playing right now. We saw Marcos. He sees 5 players pushing towards him. He doesn't panic. He rings off his shots, switches to the Tech 9, and look how fast his team were there to support him. Now, what instantly in CT with that MP9. We saw, I believe, Kyla coming down from short into long to support him as well. It's AVEZ. Their teamwork is really, really showing right now, and in a clear way, it's working out for them perfectly.
Yep, they are gonna aggress quickly. FORZE does take a lot of map presence quickly, but a great flash coming over. Does only get one, unfortunately. Should have possibly been a second. Nade damage is not gonna really connect. They should rotate someone towards that B side, but a decent enough trade. 1.5 players of FORZE down. Of course, half doesn't really count in this game, but it is still a decent amount. I mean, it's a tap to the head with an SMG or an M4, and then Jerry also falls.
Banana retake going through as well. Now what? Sitting on sandbag. I think it's position. No, face crack. Retaking the retake as he takes down Narwhal. And K now also stacked up in position, ready for the execution to come forward. He needs to find some players right now. He is alone, and very much so. His teammates only on library. Then comes forward. XC power ready for him. And FORZE now showing their teeth as they execute onto this B site. Marcos and Kyla. And Scout can't really do much against this. We're going to see him back off towards Spit. Hold on to the guns they have. As FORZE finally find a round on this T side.
Yeah, they really need to keep that op alive, because Marcos doesn't actually have a lot of money left after buying the op. It was I mean, retaking the banana position, I like it when you go for the flash play to try and peek in, but I don't think that going all the way towards sandbags was the right call. At that point, you just peek, no one's there, you fall back, or you go and play a closer angle, but sandbags can just easily be flushed out, especially because he didn't have any backup coming for him. Like, there was no chance that he would be trade fragged or anything. So he was just a sitting duck for a flash, for a molly, for, double nade stack, whatever. And got shut down. And with that, FORZE finally get themselves around on the T side. Nicely done. But it is still a pretty good buy on both sides.
For sure. And, this buy is really going to help decide it, because either team have fairly bad economies. But either's able to find this round. They're probably going to find the one after it as well, because the other team's going to have to either eco or drop down to just buy down to 2k. And, for AVEZ, that spells, them looking or smelling the hints of a 2-0, and for FORZE it means them smelling the hints of map 3. As we will see, a bit of aggression towards Banana, face crack boosted up, clearing it nice and well as AVEZ choose to stack A, and that decision could be to their detriment. As Marcos only with a, I believe that's Narwhal actually, only with a Scouts.
This is going to be a quick swarm, and maybe even an immediate save call for AVEZ. With the way it's looking so far. This is a really big gamble stack without having any intel. That smoke might keep them at bay for a little bit longer. but he gets smoked off at Coffins. He's gonna wall bang, gets a tag onto Face Crack, so at least a little bit done. The flank is immediately behind them on Force. Do they expect this? Ecstasy power, now he's gonna peek behind him. The flash comes out, gets blinded, jumps back, but a nice execution coming out. Naro gets a kill onto Face Crack as well. Close range will not win that duel. 2-for-2 trade so far. Bialy versus Flit wins that fight, and he's even got a Molly new box, so they do know what angles have been cleared so far. But the last two players playing Coffins and Construction. Jerry gets the kill. The flank coming out from Almazer. They don't expect it. Nice jump from Almazer. And now Kyler is all on his lonesome. Does execute one more. He's going to go for the defuse. Is he going to stick it? Bros don't fake. Bros don't fake. Jerry, bros don't fake. AVEZ, they secure the round with a great defuse from Kyler. Picks up the op and even finishes the job there in the end. Great round from AVEZ. Massive retake. And FORZE, they probably should force up with only one AVEZ player surviving. So it's still another close round coming up.
And honestly, for AVEZ, that must be the biggest morale boost they can imagine. A great clutch from Kyler. That man has come through again and again and again for AVEZ. FORZE now, they've not got much money. Jerry without utility, ecstasy power with only a smoke. They can force, well, they have forced, but they lose this. It's really looking bad for them, as AVEZ hoping to use that momentum going into round 21.
Both sides have pretty much slightly equal weaponry. Utility is actually also on both sides. I mean, it's pretty much equal right now between them. But what kind of play are FORZE going to go for? This time they have Marco stationed in Banana with the big green gun, hoping for someone to peek into his angles without actually getting shot down himself. Shoots because of he gets flashes off the angle, falls all the way back, and they're going to slowly crawl in. Almazer jump through. Nice tag onto Jerry. He needs to fall all the way back to his base. Does get a kill onto Jerry in the end. And there's a rotation coming through. A flank from Marcos. He's holding the line. Gets another tag coming through. Marcos is going big, but he will not be able to get them all down. They did get heavily tagged so far. And the rotations are coming through from AVEZ. The defense coming in. There's going to be a nice nade tag. They're all solo. Will they be able to hold off this push from AVEZ? The utility left. They only have 2 flashes on AVEZ. But they do have decent post plan, double op setup for FORZE on the defense as well.
Almazer rocking a hard place right now. K's probably going to find him. He's only got 11 HP, but that bomb is ticking to come through. XC power finds one swing, continuing to come round. It's 1 versus 1 now. That bomb is really ticking K. He may have been a bit too slow to get that player's scope in. He'll find him, but that bomb ticked too far down. FORZE able to take the round as they make it 10. Both teams now in double digits. AVEZ, their round lead only 11. Okay, with 3 HP, we'll hold on to that AWP. And what's interesting is we look at the money from both teams. An AWP is really quite important because neither can afford one. And, you know, both of them are going to be struggling to afford AKs or M4s. We'll see 1 or 2 on either side. But it will just be 5.7s versus Mac 10s pretty much around the board. This kind of guerrilla kind of like mafia by almost, as they don't quite have the full armament of either side. Marcos gonna have to go huge with this AWP.
That's they at least managed to secure that op every single round on the side of AVEZ. Hopefully they'll be able to lure. I mean, he went pretty big, Marcos, that round, but it was just not enough. They got so close to taking him down. It was just Almazer, that one smoke that blocked off, I can't even remember who was blocked off, but that one cost him so much time before he went for the push.
For sure. And FORZE now with apps control, they're going to be shifting forwards towards balcony. The smoke's going to go down, the push to follow. And they are actually walking into a stack. So this could be fairly favorable for AVEZ right now, as the execution about to follow. Bialy falling instantly. The follow-up kill is there, though. Jerry finding one more. K able to trade. K trying to tag down further. Kyler finds one of his own, actually, as Almazer able to trade, but that bomb has been dropped in mid. Face Crack coming in from long, able to find K. It's all on Marcos now. 1 versus 3. He'll find Face Crack. Make it a 1 versus 2, but with armor and an AWP, and looking at the economy of either side again, he's going to want to hold on to that AWP, a power weapon that we won't see next round either.
That's how many rounds have they saved that up? But yeah, it's going to be a nice 11-11 scoreline. This is looking like overpass all over again. Who's going to edge it away in the end? It is neck on neck between these two teams. Unfortunately, AVEZ 2 rounds in a row that they've lost. They got pretty close on holding that A defense there, but just not close enough. Great move coming in from FaceCrack to catch out the player in mid. Marcos even gets rid of Flip. Why are they hunting when they have barely any money in their own bank account on FORZE? Just keep that economy a little bit decent, because yeah, if you drop the op, massive, but if you lose your life, that's just disastrous.
Not worth the risk at all. And AVEZ, they do have the AWP, but they don't really have the economy to back it up. Marco's going to be that lone player. Looks like it will just be a full eco around this AWP. FORZE are now in a pole position to get their 12th.
Marcos needs to go for the information play. Oh, that actually, he could have had a kill there, but he fell back, got a little bit spooked. Probably heard a step too close for his comfort. In apps, peek in, coming through, but that's not going to work out. They have USPs pretty much on the side of AVEZ. One op on Marcos, and he's hoping that they just walk into his crosshairs one by one. Marcos probably should fall further back, again, further and further back, until eventually he'll just have to save the op for the next round, because it is still a big gun to keep alive. But they are going to start hunting right now on the side of FORZE. Let's see if they can find it.
I think it's the first time that FORZE have really been able to justify a hunt. Fortunately, they have pushed a bit too far. Marcos now going to find. Let's see how he pushes in close. Seeing the shot, so he'll have to back away. The USP was there to try and buffer any push, but Marcos now, he needs to be careful. That push coming down from Banana, as well as, well, CT spawn. If he survives this, I'll be very impressed with him. Spam coming through. He'll leg down Jerry. Unfortunately, he won't be able to find him. The AWP finally falling back into the hands of FORZE. And this round spree, they're really starting to run away with it. AVEZ needs some victory, and they need it, well, fairly soon, if they want to prevent FORZE from gaining any further momentum.
Yeah, now we don't have an op on Marcos. That is pretty sad to see. They also have 0 kits on their side. I'm not really happy with that decision making. You just sacrifice one HE grenade or something so that at least someone can pick up a defuse kit. Because you might always have to go for that retake situation. They're going to go for the aggressive, the heavy defense on AVEZ side in towards Banana. They're jumping all over the place right now to try and peek it wide. And that is just going to give all the intel for Jerry that he knows exactly what Nauro is. Does he expect a second? Bialy is going to get caught out by FaceCrack. Upgrades his Mac 10 to a nice little M4. And Marcos is now the last man standing on towards that B side. All that heavy aggression from FORZE is really paying off in this round.
Absolutely, Marcos needs to be very, very careful right now because he doesn't have any teammate to support him. Players coming are about half HP, unfortunately. That might not be enough. The execution comes out, flashes to follow, and Marcos needs to go huge here. He'll find one. That's a good start. There is still a player down towards DD spawn, down towards D spawn, so every kill right now is favorable for Marcos, unfortunately. With Flitz being so late towards B, this could potentially just be a save. And AVEZ, this game's starting to slip out of their hands right now as they lose another round.
That's 13-11 in favor of FORZE coming up. They will have a pretty good buy, though, if they save these 3 M4s into the next. But the money situation for FORZE is becoming more and more problematic with them keeping 4 rifles alive into the next round. They are not going to hunt because they don't think that their economy is that strong currently. But it is, they need to wake up again right now on AVEZ. Just like last map, right at the end, just switch on that brain and try and take a favorable situation. Not jump around in Banana to, literally for no reason. It looked like it was just bunny hopping all over the place, and gave all the intel to Jerry so that he knew exactly where his opponents were.
Absolutely. I'm going to see a timeout come through from AVEZ as well, and But if you're in AVEZ's position, what do? Well, they've always lost that initial pick towards Banana. I would hope to see them push back towards B. Maybe either play for Banana control at the very start of the round with 3 players with a set execution, or play back towards site, maybe someone boosted on CT. But whatever they've currently been doing with this kind of half sandbag setup, half corner setup, it's just not worked for them at all. They're constantly losing Banana. They're constantly losing players to pushes that come through from FORZE because they're able to take that aim duel with the flash support. And AVEZ just unable to respond, really. I want to see 3 players going down towards B right now, so I would love to see Banana control. But this kind of clunky setup on sandbags just doesn't work.
Okay, got super lucky there that XC Power just completely whiffed that shot. Close range Molly. Jerry is burning, does have a smoke to keep that burn from finishing him off, but he's down to 32 HP. Nice aggression so far coming in from AVEZ in Banana, but they do need to be careful that they won't get a quick push towards that A site. Of course, you just let Banana fall now and play the site. It's just way better. You know, initial defense in Banana, hold them off, and then afterwards fall back. Don't go for the, you know, the full control, especially if they have way more utility than your squad has.
Absolutely, and again, FORZE taking Banana control. This is what I like seeing, with AVEZ not playing for too much control, sitting back, allowing FORZE to kind of come to them, as they do have a utility to burn, and with 50 seconds left right now, FORZE setting up for again another B execute. The players in position right now. The set piece comes down, they do have 3 players at the ready. Molly to go forward, and FaceCrack just diving straight through the smoke. Up here on CT, but they've swapped places. Okay, finding Almeza. Flit's able to find Marcos, as FaceCrack will find Nawat, but there's still 2 players on this B site. 30 seconds left right now, and FORZE need to start moving the spam through the smoke. FaceCrack will find K. Still on Bialy, he'll find 1, he'll follow up, he'll find a second onto XC Power, and now it's looking really bad for FORZE. They've got 20 seconds left, they need to find Bialy and that second player coming in from Banana. Unfortunately, Bialy will fall. FaceCrack finds yet another 3K from him so far. Kyler, that lone player now, 1 versus 2. He'll drop that smoke down his position known, flashing high. And the swing to follow, he'll be found as Flit takes him down, and FORZE make it 14.
Yeah, this is, I mean, they got pretty close, but that one flanking push through the smoke, catching them off guard, they had no idea that, I think it was FaceCrack that pushed through the smoke and got behind the boosted player. That's already the second time they've gone for that quick push. It does seem to pay off nicely for FORZE, but AVEZ, they've got very little left in the bank. They're going to go for OT with the amount of weaponry that they've bought. Of course, it is still very doable to win this round if FORZE make a mistake, but that's the big if. If they make a mistake, it's going to be tough to force out a mistake from FORZE because it looks like they are completely in control.
Absolutely, and AVEZ with just pistols taking Banana control finally, as Nawat going to push forward. I think Jerry may have heard him drop down though, but Bialy's been able to get into the bait setup. So a molly in the right place could absolutely ruin them right here, or it could make them. Molly goes down, Nawat going to take damage, he'll be forced to swing. We're taking down Bialy now. Going to be that point of contact. Hopefully he can find more than one as the push will come in towards him. FORZE, 4 players cycling towards Banana. Bialy instantly taken down. The push now going to fall into the hands of Kyler. The mantle of responsibility landing firmly on his shoulders as he aggresses, actually able to find Flit, a nice little scout headshot, but Almeza able to trade the remaining 2 players from AVEZ. Okay, with that M4, Marcos with that deal are still in apps. They're going to look to save as FORZE going to hit 15 in a relatively convincing fashion.
Yeah, save that M4 into the next round, hopefully get a decent buy. With the round lost bonus, I would assume they would be able to afford an op on AVEZ, because Marcos really needs his op to, you know, feel comfortable. FORZE are looking absolutely insane right now. And if they manage to take this pace into Nuke, they are in for a world of hurt on AVEZ. Of course, Nuke does seem to be a way more comfortable map pick for AVEZ than Inferno is based on the statistics, so that might be another incredibly close map if this even goes to Nuke, because we can still easily hit that OT.
For sure, and AVEZ now, very little money. They are able to buy into it though. Marcos, AWP, and armor. Not much utility to stay. We will have a smoke. It will be M4s around the clock as well. FORZE on the other hand, AKs and the AWP in the hand of XC Power. And, you know, it will come down to this AWP duel. XC Power having a fairly strong game, even though he doesn't have many kills, like impact kills. He's consistently getting openings. He's consistently winning game duels in versus X situations. But we'll have to see just what he can get done here, as FORZE going for fairly heavy apps control as well. Marcos bringing out a shot, unable to find anything. And again, this is what I mean by AVEZ. They have this kind of shaky banana control without doing anything. They've got 3 players here, and they've got nothing to show for it. It means that now FORZE are going to set up towards A, and they're going really quickly. It means that AVEZ now needs to try and hold with 3 players. Tyler is going to be spotted in pit. Okay, able to find one. You can see that player drop down. Tyler unable to find one as Flit and Almeza take them down, and that third player just isn't there. As FORZE are now in prime position. Close out the map. Marcos listen that coming. Looking to find one. He'll leg down XSC Power. Trade isn't there. XSC Power will find him. 2 versus 4. Narwhal and Bialy. What can they find? Well, XSC Power can find Narwhal can find one. Flit can find another. Bialy now 1 versus 3. He'll be taken down by Jerry, and FORZE take it 16-11.
Yeah, that was a nice turn of events for FORZE. Their T side, we did say that they were slightly better on their T side, and it definitely showed in the end. They completely started steamrolling afterwards, and great ending to that second map. Luckily enough, we're going to go to a map number 3 because I FORZE am not yet done with watching these amazing teams perform to try and make it to the playoff spot. Winner of this, of course, qualifies to the playoffs. The loser will drop to the decider match, which will be played later today.
Absolutely, and that was a great game from both AVEZ and FORZE. AVEZ unfortunately falling off towards the end, either running out of steam or running out of ideas. It didn't really matter, as FORZE able to close it out. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be joining you with Nuke in just a moment. Hello and welcome to Malta Vibes, brought to you by Gaming Malta, the home of gaming excellence. I'm your caster, Crema3, and accompanying you throughout this is DK Truman. We recently just saw a comeback on Inferno where FORZE took map 2 against AVEZ. We're going to go into map 3 of Nuke, a map where both teams boast a fairly successful win rate. Truman, what do you think of this?
I think this is actually, on paper, would be the closest map of the three. Of course, it can always turn out that we're completely wrong in that matter, but statistically speaking, they're both on a positive win rate on this map. I mean, the previous performance on AVEZ on this map has been, they've beaten Simon twice, they've beaten Zako Boers, Honoris, they've beaten some pretty decent teams on this map recently. Whereas most of the loss rate is actually from a longer time ago. And on the other side, it is going to be, FORZE, they do have like a 76% win rate on the map. So they definitely just have a lot of big wins. They even managed to take the map away from complexity a while back in June. So this is probably the most competitive map between the two sides, but they are both heavily CT favored sides. So in my opinion, I would expect the knife round to matter a lot here.
Absolutely. And something I do like seeing, especially from FORZE, is just how aggressive they are. We saw it kind of play to their detriment on Overpass, where there'll be a man advantage, but still go aggressive. And so it meant that when they were eventually killed, they just even it out and they kind of throw away advantages. But on Nuke, that's not really the case because there's such wide out areas, especially outside. There's a fast rotation through Secret. The bombs are so close together that you've got players that are so close to one another. If you do aggress somewhere, you're going to have a teammate there to support you, which is why I think, FORZE are going to do really, really well here. AVEZ, on the other hand, they do have these star players. We saw Bialy play especially well in these series, as well as Kylar, both of them having insane performances. We'll have to see if they can keep that form up as we go into map 3, or if we'll start seeing the signs of fatigue from either team.
Yeah, I do think that because of this is such an op-heavy map that the advantage does lie slightly in FORZE's favor, because I've been more impressed by XZ Power's opping skills than by Marcos so far. He's an excellent opper, but it's just you haven't seen what you expect the main opper of a squad like AVEZ to perform. You expect the big plays, you expect multiple kill rounds coming through, but it's just been pretty slow on that end, whereas XZ Power, he's had some massive rounds, some very aggressive peaks as well on the previous map, so I do expect them to edge it away slightly over AVEZ on map number 3.
Absolutely, and it's also much that the AWP for AVEZ has been playing badly. It's just that XZ Power literally hasn't missed. He's had an unbelievable game throughout. And with that, we are actually going to be going live into the dive round now. As we go into map 3 of FORZE versus AVEZ.
Yeah, let's see if we're going to see another 1v5 knife round coming through. It is
fairly blessed with knife clutches today, haven't we? I think all 3 maps have had a form of clutch from a knife.
It does seem like it's most like, I mean, this would be a sick clutch. The amount of HP they have left on Bialy and Kyler, but don't really think that that's gonna come through. FORZE looking pretty nice here. Oh, they stab them together. One stab. Unfortunately, it was a left click from Bialy, and unless Flit misses the knife right here. Ooh, stabby. Oh, Flit does win that stab war, and it is gonna be FORZE choosing, which is most likely gonna be the CT side, all things considered.
And a common buy we actually see on the CT side of Nuke for the pistol round is 4 players with armor and 1 with a kit. And I think that really complements FORZE's playstyle because they love these aggressive peaks. We saw that they just swang on a monster on Overpass once they had the chance. So I would really, really like to see how they perform in this knife round. I suspect it will be another full armor setup. And I want to see some aggression, I expect to see outside control. I wouldn't surprise me if we see some fast lobby controls throughout the game. Maybe the odd ramp push. And actually, if we take a look at our partners at Lootbet, they are also favoring FORZE very heavily in this map. Almost 3-1 the odds for AVEZ to win this as, well, FORZE, statistically, they're just better on this map. However, AVEZ have had a really good showing today. I'll have to see if they're able to knock FORZE out of this.
And definitely starting on the CT side, it does have a nice advantage for FORZE, but my god, he just peeks around and immediately sees 3 enemies. Towards Vents, though, he's completely stuck. FaceCrack gets executed up in heaven, did not get a single shot off. It seems XTC Power is on the quick flank towards lobby. They could get the retake going, especially if... What is that? 180, 360 jump up, dodge, everything coming through. Bialy is going to get taken out by XTC Power. How is he still alive through all of those bullets flying everywhere? Flit rotates in because they want to play together instead of one going heaven. Then nice flash coming through and close range angles. XTC Power gets a triple, peeks out wide, 4K. For the man, the myth, the legend, and that is going to be the diffuse coming through for FORZE. Nice job coming in. They also have a kit, so they definitely had more than enough time, but that was just pure chaos right there.
How XTC Power survived that is beyond me. He was marked for dead the second that player showed up from behind him. The ladder parkour proving to be all he needed in order to win that. A nice little 2K as well as he comes up from the huts there, getting himself 2 quick kills and allowing FORZE to find that first round.
It is going to be a force buy on AVEZ, starting off with a pistol, 2 AKs, decent utility. Could go for a fast push coming out because they do have the 2 mech dens. They're going to drop down vents, and I mean, FORZE did not have the utility to try and hold that off by tossing nades, mollies, and everything to keep them back, but it is a spray down onto Nauro. Pretty low K is going to flank the ramp, jumps down, gets the catch onto Flit, and that is ramp cleared in favor of AVEZ. Smoke towards Squeak, and well, Jerry does have a good rotation, and FaceCrack gets rid of Marcos. They are pretty low on the side of AVEZ, though, and they can't really go for the safest bomb plants. Oh, nice peek out from Jerry, making it a man advantage coming out. FaceCrack jumping down ramp, but do they expect Kyla to be that close towards ramp? Good flash coming in, good execute coming in, and now it's going to be a 2-on-3 situation. XTC Power actually bought the op after that first round, so he definitely needs to save that big gun.
Absolutely, and AVEZ, very clean push towards B. They used the fact that FORZE probably don't have much utility to get into that vent, allowed them to get onto that B site, and they used that to admirable effect, especially when it came for that flash. Kyler aggressing further, 2 quick kills without taking any damage himself. And AVEZ, very comfortable on this second round. And again, if these teams are going to give us a performance like this, then we are due either both a long map and a good map. I hope you guys are all sitting comfortably, because I think this is going to be a good one.
Yeah, that's a good start of the map. They do have that big op, of course, ready for the next one. And if outside should be on lockdown for XTC Power, especially with AVEZ not having an op themselves, they could go for a smoke strat, of course, or just go for the exact same copy, because the utility on the side of FORZE is pretty much non-existent. They do have a Nova close range, and he's going to peek out wide through that Squeak. Luckily, there's no one peeking that angle. Jerry's going to jump up onto red. Do they spot him out? They do. Bialy cleans him clear. And XTC Power with that up. They are already down below. But FaceCrack, close range with the Nova. The gun's actually kind of trash. But maybe you'll get the good headshot onto Nauro. Jumps in. There we go. Gets a headshot. Gets K pretty close to dropping as well. And this is very doable right now for the side of FORZE. They just need a couple of taps in. K. Great flick, XTC Power with that up. I don't really think they expected him to have an op this round. And Bialy with the flank. Oh, sorry, that's Bialy with the coming up secret. Almazer is on that A site. Will they be able to spot him out in time? Because he is in a very sneaky corner where he won't get spotted as easily.
And that Nova being a very unorthodox buy from FORZE. It works, but still unorthodox, as FORZE, again, going to be holding the safe site. Kyler going to be put in contact with Almazer, and that's an execution from Kyler there, instantly taking him down. Flit's going to be the point of contact now as the execution comes forward from Heaven. XTC Power going to have to come up from the vents, but the reality is that Flit needs to get a kill, and fast, as he goes with 25 seconds left. He'll spot that first player. The trade isn't quite there, and actually he spams forward. He'll find Kyler as well. Bialy able to trade. 1 versus 1. Bialy will drop down. Bialy tapping that plant and XTC Power. Good, in the right place. All you have to do. Bialy swinging wide, winning the 1 versus 2, and taking down XTC Power. More so, he's able to save the AWP and drop that to his team. AVEZ now leading 2-1 against FORZE.
Oh. Unfortunately, not getting double Flit with a great spray down through the wall. taking out Kyla, but walks back in the crosshairs of Bialy, and Bialy clutches it out 1 versus 2. Big clutch coming through. They're going to go for another FORZE buy on FORZE. And it's kind of a shitty buy, but they have to double eco anyway. And XC Power is going to save an extra 1300 for that op. Close range battles could be advantageous for FORZE. But face crack is already pretty low.
And this is potentially a push coming forward from FORZE. We see them shifting up towards Squeaky. It could potentially be a lobby invasion coming forward. AVEZ, on the other hand, do sit back, holding firm. They know that FORZE only have pistols as they lurk and they wait like sharks around after smelling some blood. AVEZ trying to pick off the odd FORZE player before they choose to execute somewhere. Marcos with that AWP. Again, sitting back. He doesn't want to give it back to FORZE at all. We've seen how effective XSC Power can be with it. He is only on a scout right now. The outside execution comes forward as it does allow them to get squeaky control, or sorry, secret control. They already have squeaky control. And Kyla leading the charge. Gonna wait to see if he can maybe pop off the odd player. Waiting for him. Now gonna open it up, finding Jerry. He turns down his attention down towards vents. Face crack gonna be a rock in a hard place as well. Almeza, if he can jump up in time, he might be able to spot that lone AK player. He will. Now what falls? The trade is there. K finds Flitz as Bialy and Marcos trade in turn. Almeza and Face crack both fall. It's all on XSC Power. Scout in hand coming up from ramp as he looks to face this 1 versus 4 without armor.
Well, because they have a full eco next round, saving that kit and scout into the next will pretty much be his goal for now. He can't really go anywhere else. He's kind of stuck because he has no idea where the AVEZ players are. If he walks towards lobby, he might get caught. Could get a player unaware if they're going to try and clean out that ramp, though. But it does seem that there's nothing happening right now. Oh, he's going to peek in that scout. He does hear a lot of steps still towards the site, but they're going to... Oh. Might be able to drop that hopper. Gets the tag in, but is going to fall back. Oh no, never mind. He wants to go for the re-peek. Will lose his life, doesn't get a single drop down. And that is pretty unfortunate because they definitely could use that little bit of extra weaponry into the next round.
Sure, AVEZ making it 3 and FORZE now. Money not looking very good at all. It will just be buying down to 2k, the odd pistol, the odd nade. And we're going to see an airstrike, potentially on outside, or more commonly towards door at the start of the round. We'll have to see where AVEZ choose to play, because if they're not careful, they could be eating these nades as they're destined for them. However, they choose to go for what looks like a bit of a fast A-play. XC Power going to be forced out cut very early on. Either actually falling to Almeza. That's the opening that FORZE needs, but the AK is continuing to spray down. Now what? Falling down to just 1 HP.
That's a solid defensive hold. They won't be able to push any further just yet, and hopefully they'll be able to recover whatever weapon AVEZ just dropped. Soon enough, they are going to go for the outside play, and there are no long-range weapons on the side of FORZE, so they should be able to get a clear push. However, going for the dry peek is still pretty dangerous. Because of possible deagles, they're just going to walk and crawl their way out towards secret. Will they be able to respond to this in time on FORZE towards that B site?
And it genuinely looks like FORZE, which is playing with a bit of a gamble stack. That smoke towards Mini will alert them to the presence of B. Look, going to be that first person to drop. He'll be that point of contact. And because AVEZ has been so quiet, he really doesn't know where they are. He needs to be very careful if he opens double doors right now. K is already up towards control room.
They did pick up that AK on Almeza, though, which he then drops to Jerry. They have all the info they need to know where it's going to be going, and Naurot is still down on 1 HP. They make a 1-for-1 trade. This is still very doable for FORZE, especially with Jerry getting a double spray down. Last man standing towards the ramp, and Bialy standing out in the open. He will not be able to survive that. And with the full eco, pretty much, well, nearly full eco on the side of FORZE, they actually turned it around. No armor on any of their players, and they even managed to secure an op and an AK into the next round. Massive defense, something they needed desperately, because you don't want to lose too many rounds on the CT side.
Absolutely, and that was just stunning from FORZE there. That 2k from Jerry, kickstarting the retake. We saw Almeza with that deagle as well, finding Cade to open it up. And Yali, credit where credit's due. He got 2 in a 1 versus 4, a very difficult objective to do, especially when you're out in the middle of nowhere. But it wasn't quite enough. AVEZ still with a 1-man lead, or 1-round lead, and still with an economy to support this round as well. We're going to see both teams facing the prospect of resetting one another. And that again, going aggressive towards Squeaky. The set piece goes out. FaceCrack looking to jump down towards Vents to maybe catch the odd player off guard. However, he backs away at the last minute.
Yeah, it's utility use is coming through. Narrow's going to jump down Vents, but he does have Jerry already in that area as well, so you got to be careful. Oh, might catch him off guard. The flick is not going to come in successfully for AVEZ, and that is going to be a man advantage for FORZE. Does seem they're going to go for that outside take again, trying to boost Marcus over to spot out if he can find ecstasy power. And they have pretty good control here for FORZE. They have one playing down secret. There's a player towards... Actually, ecstasy power falls away from heaven and is going to head towards ramp in the meantime. So it's going to fall all the way back. They might rotate Flit forward. Yeah, Flit's going to be flanking right now. Never mind. He's just going to fall back. And they need some more eyes outside, and because otherwise they might get flanked all the way through. The molly towards secret gonna mean Jerry cannot peek, and they're creeping outside slowly but surely. Getting close.
As well. They need to move somewhere quickly. FaceCrack is wary of these players around him, and you know, a push at the wrong time could spell the end for them. 20 seconds left. They have to commit to this A site. FaceCrack going to be taken down instantly. The trade is there as Flip finds Bialy. Kyler able to trade onto Almeza. The remaining 2 players on this A defense pushing up towards heaven. Ecstasy Power fighting the first. The follow-up is pushing down though, and a plant will come through. Kate able to find Flitz. The flash up from Ecstasy Power swinging on out. He'll be found by Kyler as well. It's all on Jerry now. 1 versus 2. 24 HP remaining, and AVEZ, I think that was a 2 versus 4 or a 2 versus 3 there. Either way, that worked perfectly for them, as FORZE going to go to a 2-round advantage here.
And they tried way too hard to flush them out of the site too quickly. They had plenty of time. The players on AVEZ were all pretty beat up and tagged low, and they tried to brute force their way in. While they could have just played together, they had decent utility. I mean, for instance, that nade that he threw, I think the player that in heaven threw the nade jumped up to try and dodge his own teammate from throwing the nade against him, and that way it didn't actually land on the site, which would have completely annihilated the bomb planter. So that sort of thing, you know, the aggression, the trying to retake it immediately. There is 40 seconds until that big thing explodes. You just gotta relax sometimes, take a chill pill, and come back and, you know, reset your minds.
Absolutely. And AVEZ now going to have a bit of a full bite against thing from FORZE, and Marcos instantly opening up, tearing the head clean off of Ecstasy Power. And that just kind of shows the prowess of Marcos right now when he's feeling it. Ecstasy Power, he ruled Inferno. He did very well on Overpass, but Marcos, earlier today we saw him on Train, and he was unstoppable as he's starting to find his form again now. As Flip returning outside, he needs to be careful as well, as Marcos, he's hungry.
Yeah, this is problematic for FORZE. They do have decent weaponry still in this round though, but losing ecstasy power that quickly is pretty painful. Flip playing the smoke game. Bialy does spot him out, but he does take down Bialy beforehand. However, is stuck in the smoke, and K just sprays through it, finishes the job. And okay, this is an interesting strat from FORZE. They might not expect a double push coming out from Secret, which they definitely don't expect it, because AVEZ is falling all the way back towards lobby. And this could be a massive information play, depending on how fast AVEZ are going to execute. It seems they're heading towards... Are they going towards A, or are they going towards ramp? Nice catch from FaceCrack. That's 1 down. Sprays through the vent, but will not be able to get rid of K. But close range, Almeza with that CZ. Yeah, Kylar gets completely distracted from the shots of Jerry, and together they chime in to finish AVEZ's push. That is AVEZ down in the dirt. Money in the garbage bin, and FORZE have another one another round in the bag.
Absolutely, and time to bring you a word from our partners over at Hellcase. Hellcase is the biggest and most known case opening site with almost 100 cases, an updated case battle upgrader, dozens of giveaways per month, and absolutely more unique features. You won't get bored with Hellcase, my apologies. You use promo codes Malta5, save more and grab what you deserve.
Exactly, Hellcase make this all possible. Nice defense coming out. I mean, they went in dry and they just get annihilated. Close range swag 7. Let's go! Energy W. He does eventually get the second shot connection, but yeah, that's a nice little cash piggy right there. For FORZE 4-4 closer. They now know that there's a swag 7 though, so playing that against that blue or the squeaky area is pretty dangerous for AVEZ. But another round in their favor, and their money is starting to rake up finally. The buy from AVEZ still a little bit lackluster. They don't have an op this time, so that is problematic. XSC Power is going pretty far inside garage. There's going to be a quick execute, but the spray down coming out from Almeza completely blind through the vent as well. XSC Power gets another one outside, and that is probably the round all said and done. Shotgun in hand. AW Dream coming through. Face crack pushes forward, and he's just raking in some extra kills.
Absolutely, and I think we may be facing a prospect of what already happened on Inferno, where AVEZ opened really strong, and unfortunately, towards the end of the game, FORZE kind of got honed into how they play, and it just led FORZE to have this massive win spree where they just won round after round, eventually close it out, probably prematurely for AVEZ's liking.
And now it's a small buy from AVEZ again. They're probably going to go and rush something quickly. It does seem 2 players towards ramp, but the Molly is going to hold them off from the push. 2 outside and 1 still in the lobby. Area XC Power already starts off by getting rid of Naurot, but there is a player outside, which they do expect to be close. Facecrack's going to peek out wide, but now knows that Marcos is there, and Marcos is going to get flanked, so this is most likely going to be a reasonably clean round for FORZE. And their bank is it's gonna hit that 10k mark soon enough.
For sure, as Kay and Kyler not able to do much in this round. He's going to be able to get towards ramp, maybe catch the odd player off guard, but Kay just walking into the awaiting arms of Jerry. That nade will spell the end if the AWP doesn't. Kyler also being found by Flit, and I think FORZE won that without taking any damage. XSC Power took 4 damage, and that's the entirety of damage outputted in this round from FORZE, so that is a disgustingly clean round from them. As we look at their economy now, and it's really starting to spiral out of control thanks to these flawless rounds that we see from them. AVEZ, on the other hand, going to be on full AKs in this, as they do look to potentially make this half a bit easier for themselves, but FORZE have really been winning rounds in a row right now. They've been really starting a spree, and AVEZ haven't really found the answer yet. Now instantly falling in the molly as well. Completely blinded. He obviously didn't hear the tick from the molly through the flashbang.
It's kind of weird that it shows that Almeza killed him while flashed with a molly. That's still, you know, one of those weird little interactions in the newer user interface. Kill feed section, but yeah, AVEZ 1 man down. I mean, it was Naurot who has 1 kill so far, 10 rounds in, 1 frag for the player. So it's same with Marcos, only 3 frags. He has had the op multiple rounds. It's AVEZ. Who's actually the carry right now on their team? Kyler, probably Kyler and K. Okay, well, 6 frags, but he does fall. And it's problematic. Actually, Bialy is top fragging for their side right now, but it is 2 versus 5. What can they do? What can he do?
And, you know, this is really difficult for AVEZ because look at their money. They needed this round. If anything, they needed to do damage this round, but they've done neither. As Jerry being dinked here, that's the only damage that's really been done. Bialy might be able to find face crack. He does make noise as he drops down. He will find him, as that might actually allow Bialy to get up onto the site as he takes down Almeza as well. Flit now coming through the traders there. Unfortunately, Flit finds the remaining 2. AVEZ currently a 3-round deficit with little to no money. It wouldn't surprise me if we just see pistols and armor coming out from them now as we go into round 12. And, you know, FORZE, they've been doing a great job on the CT side of Nuke. Don't get me wrong, CT sided, but it's only CT-sided to a certain extent. As AVEZ, they still need to get kills, they still need to make space, they still need to make FORZE work for it, which is something we haven't really seen at all.
And I'm actually surprised Marcos is going for a pretty heavy buy instead of just saving a little bit of extra money for that possible op next round. It does seem like they want to go for a quick execute. They wanted to go for a quick execute on the side of AVEZ, but they did drop the mollies quickly on FORZE to try and hinder every possible push. FaceCrack starts off with the kill onto Naurot, who does seem to be dying first almost every round. Outside is going to be a quick push coming in towards Secret. Does get the spot, Jerry. There was a small gap in the smoke. FaceCrack's already down below, and they're just going to annihilate that AVEZ push. Another push that just does not bear any fruit whatsoever. 16k on 3 players for FORZE.
And there you have it. Just AVEZ being categorically dismantled by FORZE. By the time they're able to get into Secret, there are still 2 players waiting for them. And just everything they try is not working. We're going to see a timeout come forward from AVEZ, and rightfully so. What do you do if you're AVEZ? Well, we haven't really seen them play ramp very often. We haven't seen them go ramp on a buy. I'd love to see them try this ramp control. Outside control, they've been gaining it. They were able to get Secret control when FORZE tried to aggress. They were able to punish it, bar the 2 players who pushed up, but they'd already left outside at that point. So maybe some form of wrap from on A, going round from ramp to hell, coming through from outside into mini. Something similar to that from AVEZ I'd love to see. However, you know, most of the rounds before this, they didn't have the utility to pull that off. However, now they do. Either ramp control or a wrap round to A are 2 things I think are going to work perfectly for them. FORZE, on the other hand, you know, everything they've been doing is working. It doesn't really matter at this point. They've got 16k on 2 players, even after they've bought. So I'm going to be very, very interested to see how they respond to any aggression from AVEZ now on a full buy.
I did expect a little bit more, so strats coming out from AVEZ. They are going to go for the, it seems a little bit of outside harassment, but they're still staying inside the lobby. Spray down through the vent is not going to connect. Kind of lucky, because it did look like it was almost on the mark, but K in that angle could get a nice quick push out if, for instance, FaceCrack. Oh no, actually K is on the other side. Sorry, he's actually still outside. I thought he was next event. My mistake completely. X-ray bamboozled me.
Absolutely, and Almeza able to get onto Hut as well. A lot of utility expended by AVEZ here, and all they really did was destroy Squeaky. We haven't seen any damage done to any of the FORZE players, and it will be outside control being lined up from AVEZ as they go for it again. But I have to see what they can get done with it, really.
They're gonna go for the cross smoke, but because of that cross smoke, they act. Ooh, nice clean headshot from Nora. Finally gets his 2nd frag of the game. K chimes in as well, and all of a sudden, FORZE, they have lost 2 players. That means their defense is going to be pretty problematic. They most likely are going to have to guess something. They are guessing the A site though, and it is a pretty good guess so far. Jumps in wide, but they don't expect Almaze to be that close. Does only get 1. Spray wide, gets a double. Actually, no, wait, 1 was picked up by Ecstasy Power instead, and Kyler is going for the bomb plant. Tries to run away, but Ecstasy Power is too quick on that flick. Kyler gets a 3-man defense, and the bomb defuse coming through 14-4. Yeah, as we said, you know, it's a battle between the operas at this point. If it's going to be coming between a battle of the operas, it is Ecstasy Power who is probably more comfortable currently.
What a 2k from Ecstasy Power there. That's final shot as well. Flicking up, not even allowing Kylar to run. As, again, AVEZ, great job with the outside control. They're able to at least do some damage, but they need rounds, and they desperately need it. If FORZE can hit double digits, then AVEZ have got their work cut out for them on the CT side.
Okay, starting with the opener again. And because of the Molly burn tick, they knew that there was a player up on top of blue. They have a man advantage, but last round they had 2-man advantage, and it did not pay off as they pleased. But with a sneaky little one-way smoke attempt. But where are all of his opponents? He is peeking out wide. Does get spotted out. Second vent. And now it's all on Ecstasy Power and Almaze. They've got money for days anyway. So Ecstasy Power, is he going to just save that up so that his opponents don't pick it up? I think that is going to be the plan. Oh, actually misses the shot, but the headshot immediately afterwards does rain through. He's going to go for the flick attempt. Actually, wall bangs
he shot the wrong
Marcos.
person.
He got Marcos through the blue box. What? How did... Okay. Was very close to a wall bang as well.
It's so power. It's so good that even when he misses, he hits someone. As missing the player shooting at him, but getting his friend through. Hearts there. That's absolutely phenomenal for FORZE.
Though they do want to pick up this last round because honestly, 5 rounds on the T side's not that bad. 6 rounds on the T side is a win for AVEZ.
For sure.
And again, Naurot gets immediately taken down at the start of the round. He probably needs to take a chill pill in some of these rounds because he is literally the first one to die. Well, not literally, but close to every single start of the round.
We're going to see Ecstasy Power now making contact with these outside players. And again, that's another kill for Ecstasy Power. The man is on fire right now for FORZE. Jerry now going to aggress himself. And Marcos actually spotting Ecstasy Power. Not even expecting him to aggress that far. Okay, is able to trade. Face track will find Bialy. And as Fit now aggressing towards locker room. Okay, going to be his player to find. And that's the bomb actually. He really needs to try and get away with that bomb. Or he's going to be a rock in a hard place. Flit now aggressing in the right position for him could be everything.
Okay, still stuck outside. There is a player down fence, but Flick turning his back towards K, and that is not exactly the plan that you want to make. Kind of weird that he completely turned his back towards Garage with 2 T's still alive, and they're going to head towards the B side. There is no B defense ready from FORZE, so it is just going to have to be a retake. Facecrack slowly crawling down fence, but how are the post plant positions going to be from AVEZ? Marcos is close. He does expect Almaze to come through the secret area, and he does win that duel. So it is all on Facecrack. 1 versus 2. Can he flush this out? Is trying to wall bang and peek up, but it is right in front of double doors, and they're going to double peek him. No chance in hell that he would win that duel, and that is going to be AVEZ with 6 rounds on the T side. Not too bad, honestly.
For sure, that looked like it was going to be double digits for FORZE, almost guaranteed. So AVEZ doing a nice little job to clean up their act towards the final or closing rounds of the half. We're going to go to the second half again. AVEZ, they still need to get 3 rounds. There's still a 3-round deficit. And FORZE with Ecstasy Power playing so well, they're going to be so prominent outside with that ult. Once he's able to get it, it's going to be very difficult for them to play into this. Take a look at our partners over at Lootbet. They agree. It's fairly similar odds to the start of the game, about 3-1, give or take, for FORZE to win. Well, for AVEZ to win, 3-1 that is. Do you agree with that, Truman? How do you feel about it?
I would say, yeah, because of the team difference, that maybe a 2.5 for AVEZ, so I think it's actually pretty good value. I mean, if they win this pistol, they are definitely in the driver's seat, but it definitely doesn't help that your top fragger Bialy gets annihilated. Luckily, Marcos does chime in. There's going to be a push from a ramp, and it is a lot of damage dealt to the AVEZ defense so far. K trying to spam through the smoke, but he gets taken down as well. Naurot has to go big, and otherwise, well, you know the rest of the saying.
That's come through. It's just not hitting. It's just not working for him. And it's just heartbreaking. Flit burst fire will take him down. FORZE hit double digits. It took them 16 rounds, but eventually they make it 10. As they look like they're going to run away with this game fairly quickly if AVEZ can't catch up.
Yeah, Naurot, the could not finish. I mean, it didn't matter at that point, but still not even getting that kill secured at the end. That is pretty painful for the side of AVEZ. They're going to go for the full, the force buy to see if they can make something happen. Nade stack towards outside most likely could do a lot of damage. Could actually blow up Facecrack if he's not unaware. No, it's not even a nade stack outside. That would have been so big.
Oh, those nades doing a lot of damage as well. well, actually relative, as AVEZ now looking to find them. Hey, leading the charge, XSC Power taking him down. Scout from Marcos, seeing if he can find anything, but Almeza, that Yurmty completely unstoppable. Bialy making noise, he's found as well by Flitz. And it's just looking heartbreaking for AVEZ right now. They're dismantled categorically round the map. Kyler is able to find XSC Power, but really for AVEZ, it's just not working for them.
Yeah, now it's going to be a full eco, so that should be 12-6. It's going to be a pretty tough climb for AVEZ. It is definitely not impossible, especially if you manage to get that op on Marcos finally, where he can start popping off. But this should be a pretty free round for FORZE. Not really much you can do. A couple of maybe you can stack, or they're going to rush ramp. They might not be wary of this. Kyla does get taken out by XSC Power. They are very close though. Face Crack, he wants to farm up some extra cash. Peeks in wide, does take a decent amount of damage, gets taken down, so at least a little bit of damage has been dealt. But Almazer is still there and the last man standing. Marcos is just hiding all the way towards ramp and ticking down that clock so they can go for... AVEZ can have a little tactical discussion in the meantime, see what their plan is going to be for the next round.
It's actually fairly common on ecos for players to just go and hide so they can just talk about the game ahead. For AVEZ, really they've just been like everything they've tried, it hasn't worked. I liked it when they aggressed outside. Granted, they were caught off guard by XSC Power, but I would love to see if they can do it again with utility, with the flash support, and if they can do it with decent guns, as I suspect. It's FORZE being so aggressive, their flanks aren't usually as secure as you'll see with teams that are more methodical.
They do have a lot of cash in the bank on the side of FORZE. Even with that odd buyout this round, they still have enough for another full buy, maybe even two afterwards if they would possibly lose this. The problem is Marcos does not have any armor, so that is a little bit painful, and the utility is rather lackluster on AVEZ, so their buy is not that massive. But there is a player with an AUG K. Is not even needed because Marcos does shut down Face Crack on the cross. Good catch from the op. That actually does mean that the player in garage has not been spotted out yet and keeps him sneakily hidden. Big save there.
It does mean that's though he's already on the red box. If they are able to force Marcos away with that AWP, then it's going to be fairly easy to get in towards secret. We're going to see outside control taken. Push comes out, Marcos being forced to fall away. He'll spot that first player. It has meant they're allowed to get in towards secret. Marcos now dropping down alongside his teammate as FORZE going to be fighting for B control.
Yeah, it is a man advantage still for AVEZ. They are pretty close towards that B site, and it does seem that it's going to be B. Now Rot on a perfect position, though, to shut down one, maybe even two, with the help of Marcos from ramp. It's just going to be a night. Okay, that shot is going to be very crucial. Does whiff it though, and is Marcos. He's going to peek in wide from that op. He's right behind the smoke. They do manage to get the kill. Naro gets a one and done. Behind side, bomb is going to get planted. Will not be able to interrupt the bomb plant. And it's a 3-on-3 situation. Flit, luckily, chimed in with another kill. All three CTs coming out from ramp. Almazer is still stuck behind side. Needs a smoke from Flit to get himself out of there. However, Almazer, he can just hide there. They don't actually have utility to flush him out. He's going to peek wide into the op of Marcos. But the last two players standing are both towards the double doors area. Bialy is going to try and push close range. XSC Power, he does expect it. He smells him from a mile away, and that's FORZE 13-6. Shut down the full buy of AVEZ, and this is looking like it's going to go... Well, AVEZ is probably going to have to play the decider match.
For sure, and FORZE is just so strong from them. That retake, that site retake, absolutely phenomenal. Getting those two kills, able to get onto site. They had 6 seconds left when they got that plant, and it allowed AVEZ to, well, it allowed FORZE to really walk all over AVEZ in that closing few seconds of the round. All three players going from ramp. They already had the AWP there though to support any players from secret as well. So strong Force's sight hold. Going to put AVEZ down to just an eco right now. Almaze is going to find case, open it up. Kyler trading onto Flit though, as Bialy in main will be taken down by Face Crack, and Face Crack finds a second onto Kyler. The man's had enough. He wants to go have his dinner as he just walks around killing everyone. Now what able to trade on to Almeza. Jerry able to find the kill. It's all on Marcos now. 1 versus 3. As we come up from Secret, Ecstasy Power will find him. And I want to highlight Ecstasy Power right now. His prowess with that AWP over all 3 maps we've seen today, just unbelievable. 23-7 now. I think we saw him and him hit 27 last game. High 20s the game before that, and it's just really shows what a good AWPer can do for your team right now.
Yeah, especially because Marcos on that T side hasn't really been picking up that op frequently. They have struggled on the economy pretty much the entire time. Force buys, too many force buys in my opinion, and not paying attention too much on the nade count, the amount of money that you kept in the bank, because you need to give your opper an op, especially on a map like Nuke. It's so long range, it's so many hard angles to peek in with a rifle. That extra op on the T and the CT side is advantageous, and they're going to do exactly that. AVEZ, they're picking up the double op setup. Naurot and Marcos. Naurot, of course, struggling with the rifle so far, so maybe the switch up to the op might be the magic that he actually does need. K close range is going to stand on top of blue. X gets the kill coming onto Face Crack, but a double so far. Naurot actually gets a kill with the op. So far, it has paid off, it seems. 3 versus 5 situation. Peek out wide. K gets a second, but XC Power swings wide. Gets rid of K. And now it's all on Almazer and XC Power. Player at second vents. XC Power is trying to flank Heaven, though will most likely be expected there.
A swing in the right place right now could spell the end for AVEZ actually. The positioning from FORZE really, really good. As Almazer making some noise. As XC Pack is taken down by Kyler. It's all on Almazer. He'll be taken down by Bialy. And with that, AVEZ is taking them 22 rounds. But they find their 7th. It took them up to this point, the entirety of the second half to just win 1 round. And even though they're able to find 1, FORZE with a 7-round lead find themselves on 14. AVEZ still have a mountain to climb if they want to even consider coming back into this.
Yeah, especially with FORZE still having a decent amount of money behind them on XC Power and Jerry and Flit. They should be able to have a decent-ish buy next round. There's going to be the op peeking XC Power. You don't want to peek into that big boy, because he's not been missing many shots so far. There's going to be the rush through. Bialy gets flashed off the angle. Kyler luckily chimes in with a kill, but he is blinded himself. Close range. Bialy, they know he's close range. Peeking from Jerry, and they're going to absolutely annihilate. Yeah, the AVEZ is just... Oh, the turnaround. Marcos with that op gets a double. He's trying to show up and show that not only XC Power is a god opper on this map. Naurot gets another kill himself, and the quick flank coming through from AVEZ. Will Jerry be able to secure the defense, since Naurot 1 versus 1 does get the shot in? 2 kills with the op, and that op pickup, the double op setup from AVEZ, does secure them another round.
And that came in clutch for AVEZ there. They had, I think that was a 3-man disadvantage. Those 2 players just slowly picking off the push from FORZE 1 at a time. A great 2k from Marcos there, as he no-scopes the first, scoping into the second, almost hitting the third as well, as we're going to see a pause come through. It's going to be a technical pause, as one of the players, I think, about to drop on either side. AVEZ, though, great round, and this could potentially be the size of a comeback.
Possible. I mean, it's still a long way to actually start calling it a comeback, but it is the CT side, and Naurot, at least he has, I think after the first half, he had 2 frags. Well, so far he has had another extra 5, and I think 3 at least on the op, so that is a big plus for him. Maybe he should always be their secondary opper, because it does seem to pay off a lot better.
The timeout comes through, as we now face AVEZ. They've been able to mount a comeback. FORZE, their money not looking too good either. Will be an AWP in the hands of XC Power, but the remaining players still holding on to pistols, so potentially using that AWP as a power play to try and kickstart something in this round from FORZE. If it doesn't, well, XC Power, I assume, would just go save it, as AVEZ already with a double up setup on Nawat and Marcos.
Yeah, this a quick outside push XC Power. He wants to take those op duels, but it does seem that the rest of FORZE want to head towards that ramp area and overwhelm Naurot, who also has himself an op. They don't have any flashes or utility to try and get closer, so they're just going to have to go for the raw push, unless they're going to let XSC Power go for the quick peek with that op, which does seem to be their plan. See if he can win that op duel against Naurot. But the smoke is, oh, that's a one-way coming through. I think he should have spotted the player. At least I saw his feet.
He did not spot the tootsies of FaceCrack. That nade might confirm it, as FaceCrack takes a 60 damage nade right there. Okay, able to tag Flint's down. Push comes forward, jump comes across. And Nawat now forced away on ramp. We can see him back on off, just actually running as far back as he can. He's going to miss his shot. He'll be dinked down. FaceCrack going to find him. 2 orbs now in the hands of FORZE. We see the orb of Nawat as well. C-Power finds Kyla. Marcos going to be traded by Almeza. And suddenly this is looking awful for AVEZ. 3 versus 2 right now, and K is position held by Almeza. That's a beautiful swing, though. K is taking down Almeza. The push coming forward from Bialy. He's sent aside. 2 orbs remaining now as K finding XC Power. It's all on FaceCrack now. 1 versus 2. And with 20 seconds left, it started looking awful for FORZE. However, AVEZ able to regain their hold on the round. As AVEZ now make it 9.
That's a nice turn of events. It went really wrong when Naurot could not get a nice kill towards that ramp. He just whiffed a couple of shots in a row. So Casta's curse right there. But they managed to hold on in the end with the quick rotations coming through from AVEZ to defend that. If that bomb went down, it would have been a completely different story. But unfortunately for FORZE, they could not get the bomb plant secured. However, they do have a full buy this round. Nade coming through is not even going to do any damage, and XC Power gets rid of K, who tries to get aggressive. FaceCrack's already towards Fend. Actually, towards a secret, but Kyla does spot him out. There's going to be peak wide headshot onto FaceCrack. Nice tap coming through, but FaceCrack has his number completely because he managed to secure the kill in return. Bialy does get the trade frag coming through, but they are 1 man down. Marcos does have the op, so that's a big plus that they still have on AVEZ, but that's the big plus that I was talking about. Bialy's gonna peek in onto Almeza. Nice aggressive move coming through from AVEZ, and now it's all of a sudden 2 versus 4, almost down to 1 versus 4 because XC Power gets heavily tagged on that op. The bomb is dropped in front of Mini and Flit on the flag jump down. That means heaven is now open for the terrorists, and with the positioning of these CTs, that's going to be a free A plant.
Sure, it's not only the A site that's, well, heaven that's open, it's the entire A site, and but now holding firm, waiting for a push to come forward, but one player's on the wrong bomb site. 30 seconds left now, and FORZE, this is a beautiful position. They're facing match point. This is it. Bialy coming up from heaven. Want to swing anywhere just yet. Flit's going to be at the ready. Flit now with these 2 players coming up from heaven. He is going to be that point of contact. He's going to have all the responsibility. He'll find the first. He'll find the second, and that's beautiful. FORZE hit round 15 with literally 14 HP remaining combined.
That was a very strange call to just immediately abandon the A site and head towards B. They were actually on the B site, spraying from down below, trying to drop that bomb, and that was just a interesting call to say the least. Pause coming out, tactical pause coming out from FORZE. I'm actually surprised that we barely see any tactical pauses in general in this series. I mean, AVEZ, I don't think they've used a single one in this map.
They were quite liberal with them on Overpass. We saw them use one or two on Inferno, but you're right, it's been fairly lackluster on Nuke. I suppose both teams suspecting they have their own form of momentum that they want to keep forward. FORZE in particular. I do like this timeout. However, I suspect that it could have been done a bit sooner. I think FORZE wanted to just keep calm, not get ahead of themselves, and discuss what they're going to do for round 16. As AVEZ, their money in absolute tatters. It'll be 3 players with just pistols. Marcos and K can have that Scout and MP9 as they go against what is almost a full buy from FORZE. It will just be Max 10s on Almeza, Jerry, and FaceCrack.
Yeah, solid buy. The defense is possible with their weaponry, especially close range angles. If they go for instance, the quick lobby push, or Marcus gets a nice headshot with the scout, but it is backs against the wall. 6 match points, series points, and they are going to be playing pretty passively here to start off with on FORZE because they are expecting some aggression coming out from the opponents. Oh, look at that quick rush. Does spot a player out towards CT Marcos. He does not get the tag in just yet. He's missing these shots. He needs it to connect, but luckily there's no with a quick rotation. Unfortunately, Marcos already loses his life to the nade. It's a 1-for-1 trade. I mean, that's a big plus. Never mind that. Plus is completely gone when Flick gets himself a double spray down, and it's all on K. Can he make the clutch? It is nearly impossible, especially with Jerry peeking him, and Flit gets the final say in the round. That is going to be 16-9. FORZE take the series and are going off to the playoffs.
Absolutely, and that was an admirable effort from AVEZ there. We did say from the start, FORZE probably going to have the advantage going into Nuke.